What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the WUC podcast. We're calling it the WUC podcast now. Washed Up Club, if you didn't know already. You already clicked on it, though. My name is Adam. I'm here with my co-host, Zach Baldeep and Freddie Boost.
He did it. He did it.
I was wondering where you were going to go with it.
Bruni Boost.
We're past episode 7.
Yeah, I know.
So cop that, Sarah.
Take that, Sarah. She's not listening right now because she doesn't believe in us. But if she could hear this right now, she would understand how wrong she was.
We'll just send her this snippet. We'll be all right. So, last week, Zachary.
Oh, God.
That's
here we
right.
Go.
We're back. There was sushi on your car, and you did not get to explain it to me. And it's been... I'm like, why? Why was there sushi on the car?
So for all the people at home, last week, Zach turned up to my house, which is where we record the podcast, with sushi on his roof.
Why does shit always
And I know
happen
the
to me?
story. I know the story. But we were like, no, Brendan, we'll tell you in the podcast. Completely forgot to tell him in the podcast.
Have you really been holding that in
A whole week. A whole week.
So
I have more I've been holding in.
So for those of you who don't know, we've been limiting ourselves to a $15 dinner sort of per week when we come around to Adam's house.
$5 each.
$5 each. He's been doing it, right? So I end up going to Lilydale Shopping Centre to go get all the stuff. Sorry.
And then what address did you go to?
I went
doesn't matter.
Went to the shopping centre, somewhere near there.
Somewhere in or around.
Somewhere
that
in
area.
around Lilydale, around about there. Anyway, I went out and I went to the shopping centre and got all the stuff for our $5 dinner, and then I came back out.
It's $5 each, by the way, not for all of us.
$5 each.
Yeah, so there was this person that was eating sushi, and they just left it on the bench on the end, and then walked away from the sushi as I was walking out, and some crows went and started picking at this sushi, and I'm like, rightio, no worries at all, I won't touch the sushi.
You were like, oh, I want some of that.
Well, yeah, and then I started thinking
Punched
it cut.
the bird.
Yeah. No, these crows are into the sushi, and I'm like, oh, okay, those crows eating sushi. I
Very
didn't really
cultured.
think much about this whatsoever.
Multicultural.
Went to my car and I was typing in Adam's address.
What was that?
So I started typing in 69/420 fucking whatever it is. And then, yeah, I heard this massive big thud on this roof. And I looked on the roof, and sure enough, this crow had managed to get an entire sushi roll up into the freaking tree above my car and then drop sushi onto my car.
Well, it was probably really hard for it to hold the little
Well,
soy
yeah.
sauce thing. as
Yeah,
well.
it's probably
exactly
trying to
right.
put soy sauce
Yeah,
in the sushi.
and then
and
drop
just
some.
just
Yeah,
drop
exactly
it.
right.
Did you give it back?
No, I didn't actually.
You
I
ate
took
it?
the sushi home to your place.
I think the only thing weirder than a bird dropping sushi onto Zach's car. By the way, don't be boosting your $5 meals with sushi.
Yeah.
Don't go get sushi. Have pre-dinner just because our $5 dinner isn't enough.
Not at all. No, we had some palmy burgers, which was pretty. It had been pretty fire. Not
We had
gonna lie.
Parma. Parma burgers were really good.
No, palmy burgers were sick. Spelled PARMY burgers, which is pretty good. Just to quickly clarify that.
I have some thoughts about all that.
And then I roll up to Adam's house because I work later than these lads because I start later than these lads, as we previously discussed, and I don't want to bring up.
Precisely an hour and 15 minutes.
1 hour and 15 minutes later than these guys. So I roll in a bit late and I'm like, there's sushi on Zach's car, and these two are both looking at me like, we can't speak about it right now. And then you didn't tell me all week.
There's a decent chunk of sushi on the car, wasn't it?
And it was like, the weird thing for me, it was in your, like, where your window wiper goes.
Yeah.
It was like, did Zach leave it there and just drive off with sushi?
No,
Like, yeah.
no, I just had sushi on the car.
That's a pretty normal story.
It's a pretty, yeah.
And-
A crow just dropped sushi on the car.
You know what else has crossed my mind? We haven't discussed that you two have had the burger sauce hot cross buns.
Oh, man.
I
so
couldn't eat it.
Freddie bought them and brought them in to work for us to try. He didn't even
try
try
them
them.
himself.
I wasn't sold. You guys are like, "Bruh."
Look, I
like
really
that.
hated it, but there was some people, not saying you, but some, no, you didn't like it.
I hated it.
There was some other people.
Our fellow work colleagues loved it.
Shout out them. Except for the fact that you like it.
Yeah, it was really weird. We actually found out that it has pickles in
Yeah,
it.
it has pickles in it.
Yeah, gross.
So this is, hot cross buns with special burger sauce and pickles. Why?
You know what was really funny? Everyone at work was explaining it to how you explain like that shit friend. That friend, like, you know, like, oh, it's not that bad. You just, but if you act like it's like, you know, like,
If you act like it's not a hot cross
Yeah,
bun,
yeah.
Just forget that it's a hot
alright.
cross bun.
that's literally what they said.
If you just ignore all these
If you
red flags.
shut your eyes and act like you're eating a cheeseburger that's disgusting, kind of tastes
Yeah,
like it.
yeah. Moldy cheeseburger
it
is
tasted
exactly what
like
it tasted
a really
like.
old Macca's cheeseburger. That's what it tasted like, but
When you
it was
leave-
bread.
When you leave Macca's
Just
in your
bread.
car and it has that Macca's stank, that's what
Yeah.
the whole workplace
Literally,
felt like.
you're eating the stank.
The stank. I just like left the packet beside me because he was like, yeah, I'll have one. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I hope he eats that soon. Because I was not dealing.
They were bad. They were very bad.
Zach and I really didn't like. I really hated
But
it.
please go and pick them up on your own and give them a shot with your friends. We'd love to get your feedback.
Tag
Maybe
us in it.
You know
Thanks.
those things where like you can once you've been thinking about it, you can then taste it.
Yeah. No, it's repeated on me a few times.
Yeah, I'm still repeating on me. It's ridiculous.
Every time you see like the ad on the TV, you're like,
Every time I say hot cross, it's ruined hot cross buns for me. I'm done.
yeah. So
I don't know.
they
I
were
still
the,
like cross buns.
the
I
two
love 'em.
spicy things on my mind. Yeah, Zach and I are big fans of hot cross buns.
Yeah,
Apple
no, I
and
really
cinnamon.
like
Zach,
To be fair,
I
I'll
love 'em.
go back. I'll be back.
yeah.
Yeah. Apple and cinnamon.
I
hot
had
cross buns are
the
best.
caramel ones were fire. They do
Ooh.
not. They don't taste like hot cross buns really, but they just taste like a sweet. So I was like, yeah, heck yeah. But I didn't make any like, oh, it's not that bad.
If you just ignore everything
If you
about
just
it.
ignore everything about it, they're fine.
So let's get into the car topics of this automotive-based
Oh
podcast.
God, does it start off
Zachary
with... Yep.
went off-roading.
Crazy.
Zach is the only person to have done any car-related things, so let's talk about that.
Yeah, so last week I went forward driving.
Yeah, he's doing more forward driving than me.
Ventured
this year.
out onto the grass at Sandown Raceway, and it was very...
At how fast?
103.
103 k's an hour.
103.
He hit the dirt.
You were probably the
Yeah.
only person
Sideways.
to shit yourself at that speed that day.
Yeah, I think so, roughly. Oh, thanks, bro. Appreciate that.
Good job.
So I turned
Small
into
wins.
turn one as quick as 180 k's in the little BRZ down the end of the front straight. And then I braked and I trail braked into the corner. You guys know what trail braking is, don't you?
No,
Explain
no
it to someone that doesn't know anything.
Right, so to hit
Someone random, not
someone
not-
random that has no
For
clue
those out
what
there,
it's about.
just dumb it down a little bit. all right?
Dumb it down.
So
For someone that looks
basically-
exactly like me.
So basically, what you can do is to get the optimal front grip in a car. What you can do is you can trail brake into a corner. So you full on hectic 100% brake into the corner, and then as you're coming into the apex, you let off the brakes and turn at the same time. Because if you were 100% braking and turn at the same time, you're just going to understeer because you have no front grip. So you let off the brakes and ease off the brakes as you turn in, and that gives you the optimal front grip because when you come to braking, it pushes on the front of the car and gives you the most optimal turn in.
I feel like I do that somewhat.
Yeah. A lot of people would probably subconsciously do it, if you get me. So yeah,
Anyway.
I did that a little bit too much to the back end kicked out. And then when the back end kicked out, I kind of lost control like before I even entered the corner. And then I lost control through the
Well, it
entire
must have
corner.
been hard because as soon as the
Yeah.
back kicked out, I saw you doing this out the window, G'ing up the crowd.
Yeah, I was definitely not drifting. I was more
flips the car.
I was losing control the entire time. And yes, I did dig into the dirt and I did go on two wheels and it was very scary. And I ended up about a meter and a half from the fence.
Is it on your Instagram?
Yeah, so
no, actually, this is probably the first time anyone hears about it because I'm so far behind on videos.
Well, anyway, if you really want to see it, like it's pretty hectic. He was sideways into the gravel pit at 100 k's an
because
hour.
I saw it just late at night. I saw it pop up in my feed and I'm like, oh, heck. Like, damn, I should have gone to that day. But you really undersold the day to me. Like, you guys can go in the car at the start of the day and the end of the day for $25 and I'm not allowed to go fast. And I'm like,
Yeah, it was so dumb. But yeah, no, I don't
I can see
understand it.
why now, though.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Bloody bacon the 180 corner.
Yeah. So earlier that day, there was a GT2 RS that went off at the exact same location. The GT2 RS rolled. So the superior car that I currently drive didn't roll, didn't come off.
How
Oh,
fast
yeah,
did the
yeah.
GT2 RS
Let's
come
not
off though?
talk about how fast the GT
I'm
went
more
off the track.
concerned about the superior car that won't be driven to work.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's just yeah.
I want to stay on this. I want you to explain the feeling because I've done my Winton day in the S14 when it was completely stock, like tires I bought the car on, brakes that were spongy. I learnt about brake fade. I learnt about coming into a corner and going, oh heck, is the car actually going to pull up? And I can only imagine it's way more intense than that when you're like pushing your limits, whereas I was learning to drive around a track. How'd you feel? Did you feel completely out of control? Did you feel like, were you like, oh, I'm not going to hit, but I'm going to be close? Were you worried about rolling?
I felt pretty under control the entire time because if I look back at the footage, my quickest lap time was the lap before that. And I basically did the exact same thing into the corner and pulled out of it. So I knew that I was actually going into that corner and sliding because I think optimally you want 5% slip, and that's what's going to give you your fastest time.
So you're trying to walk that fine line.
Yeah, I was definitely like not going the 80% that they were telling me to do. I was definitely going 110.
Why would
and
you go 80% when you're on a track?
They tell
Exactly
you
right.
for like non-competitive track days,
Yeah,
they
I
often say
suppose.
drive at 80%.
Drive at
I suppose
80%,
because you
you
get
won't
on there like,
crash.
oh, I've got to,
Yeah.
woo! And it just dies.
That's exactly how I sounded in the car.
We'll go back to me, Lil Wintondale. Interrupt Zachary's
No,
story.
go for it.
We had that same speech, and they're like 80%, and me and my mate are like, I'm gonna drive as hard as I can, and we were sharing my car, and my mate's like, I'm gonna thrash your S40, and I'm like freaking out. I'm like, Sace, bro, like, can you just, like, I'm worried he's going to bin my car. Meanwhile, he hops in the car with me and I am going as hard as I can. He's like freaking out. I think it's just the crossover bit from being in control to being a passenger.
Yeah, correct.
Anyway, 4 cars ahead of me, I watched some like HSV like kick out. And there was a car like a Lancer ahead of it and it like power skids out, tries to keep in it, goes in front of the Lancer, hits the wall, the Lancer like goes around and only just avoiding like a terrible crash 3 laps into the day. And that's, I think that's why they get it because towards the end of the day, I'm barreling into corners, like locking up all the wheels because I've gone too hard and they don't generally black flag you. They're like, oh, you know, as long as you're making sure I'm not going to do that on a corner where there's a car on the inside of me. But if I've got the space, they generally seem pretty like lenient with it.
Yeah. If you're trialing how you're driving and testing and pushing your limits, they're going to be okay with it. Like every now and then you'll come in sideways into a corner and bail out and you'll go onto the grass and they won't really care. They'll wave the yellow flags and they won't really say anything. But it's when you do stuff like what I did is when they end the session and go, all right, that was a bit of a big one. How about you come in?
You got it
Did you
ended on
get
you.
called up?
Yeah, I got the
Did you
session.
get yelled at?
I didn't get yelled at. No. I definitely went off track a
Gets
fair bit.
everyone less track time, doesn't he? Get a slap on the wrist for it.
No,
I'm so Goldie.
No, he was back on the track real quick. Did
Yeah,
you watch
yeah.
all of it?
I went back.
Straight back on the track.
Yeah, I went straight back on the track
I can't remember.
and kept going. Yeah. So I did that and then I did the
shouldn't
last
have.
session as well. But pretty much as soon as I went off track, they check and flag the session. I don't know whether, like that session I got 6 laps in. The rest of the sessions were like 7 or 8. So I must have been a lap down or something like that. But or they called the session in early. I don't know.
So put it for the audio listeners and the people that haven't seen the clip. I saw Zach go off and I was like, the car is definitely bent or damaged, which Zach has never had an alignment, so it could be. He just probably doesn't know.
Probably drives better now.
Probably, yeah. Steering wheel straight as can be.
I'm not gonna lie. You know how I pulled to the left? It no longer does it.
Now it doesn't go left at all. No,
Yeah.
that actually popped into my brain. Have you been black flagged before?
No,
For the people
I've
that don't
never
know,
been-
that's like kicking you off the
No,
track.
I do. I'm a very cautious driver, and I don't like to do that sort of stuff when other people are on the track. Even power crews and stuff like that. I'll do roll racing, and I won't do anything like I won't skid around corners. I won't put anyone else's lives at risk and stuff like that. But when I'm by myself and I'm in my own car, and I know that everything that I do is up to me, I will go 110%, and I'm gonna try and practice and learn, and you know, out of that one crash, I've learned more than my 3 track days combined of going around that corner. I learned not to go into that corner that quick. So
I learned
yeah.
speeding out now. Can you tell when there's another, like you've obviously done some track racing with a passenger in the BRZ. 86, I can never remember.
BRZ.
Blue thing,
Yeah,
blue
the
car.
the blue thing that everyone makes. Yeah.
It's the better one.
It's the better one. You don't understand. The interior trim package has the green stitching, which basically means you're not a bitch. I can feel it in the Sylvia when I have passengers, especially a third. She gutless.
Yeah.
She uphill.
Yeah.
Really?
And you can feel
Yeah.
the weight of people in the cars, especially when you're trying to drive them in a much more nimble way.
A slow
Right.
car, especially, huge difference. So when I have passengers, I'm usually 2 seconds a lap slower, which is massive. I feel like I drive the same, but it's
It'd
just
be 4 seconds faster with Adam and I because we'd be like, go! Like, gee, you are paddling air out the window.
I'm definitely a couple of seconds slow because you think about it, like it's a 1,200 kilo car plus you, so that's like an extra 60 or 70 kilo, and then you're adding another passenger, which they could be 70, 80 kilo, which I think Ben was, who was my friend that was in there. So automatically you've gone from a car that's 1,300 kilo to 1,450, and
I suppose percentage-wise, that's a fair bit.
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm just so used to heavy cars. So
Yeah.
These guys are like, oh, it's 1,800 kilo. That's heavy. I'm like,
My
oh,
attempts weighs that
the
much.
Trippy was like 3.2 ton.
So, for example, my Starlet will gas item onto the freeway.
Yeah, well-
I'm like,
Oh, yeah. God,
slip
yeah.
shot. It's like no air's hitting me at all because there's basically a big wall in front of
it's
me.
a brick.
So
Fridge.
good.
Fridge
The
going through there.
aerodynamics of a fridge. Do you think the having a passenger might also affect you mentally? Like you're maybe trying to drive differently to
like
be
you're trying
better?
you're
You're
to
almost
push
trying
it.
to show off, but
Yeah.
it's making you not think as logical. Instead, all you're thinking is faster,
Yeah.
faster.
Well, at the end of the day, I drive the exact same because I know for a fact that so many people find the BRZ so underrated when they go out on track. And especially when I pull out of the pits, I like gun it first, second, third, fourth. And I'm like, yeah, it's pretty slow, isn't it? And then the passenger's like, yeah, it's not the fastest thing in a straight line. The moment we get to a corner, I feel like this is what every single 86 or BRZ owner says. It's in the corners, I swear, bro. Like, it's just
Not built for the
See,
straights.
I'm not even like, because I'm full behind that.
Yeah.
100%. I think for me, it's that like, it's the cheapest way to have fun.
It is,
You
yeah.
put a heap of corners in a slow car, you
Oh
can have a
yeah,
lot
it's
of
the
fun.
cheapest and most reliable way to have fun is to buy a VRZ.
Super
And
reliable.
it's super reliable.
Never breaks down.
Never breaks. Always drive
Never
to and
leaves
from
you
the
stranded
track.
at your mate's house when you're filming a
When
podcast.
you're about to do, prior to episode 8 of the podcast.
Well, this seems oddly specific. Oddly specific. Who are we talking about here? I don't know.
A mate.
I wouldn't
a
have a
mate.
clue.
So, yeah, you turned up to work this morning. You're like, my car's making some weird noises.
Yeah.
You were trying to
Weird
describe it
noises.
to me, and I was like trying to figure it out. And then when you came here, I heard it, and I was like, what is that?
Yeah, I actually
never heard before in my life.
because you're obviously sitting inside the car. I put everything inside the car, and to sort of describe it, it's like a really loud popping noise, but it's only under like acceleration, and it's only like up hills and stuff. It's super weird.
I would explain it as like, it sounds like plastic crunching.
It
Yeah,
does.
That's
yeah.
what I said.
And that's-
but it's like really loud.
The thing with it is that Zach's intake is plastic, and the sound is just kind of there. It's weird.
But when you're sitting in the car and the windows are up and everything, it sounds like it's the whole car. So I was like,
Really?
okay, well, maybe because it was really quiet this morning. I'm like, maybe it's just like the wheel bearings or stuff. So I was trying to like load up
That's
the wheel
not good that
bearings.
it's gotten louder.
Yeah.
It got louder. Yeah, it did get louder. But
And as you guys know, I'm a mechanic, so instantly Zach's like, Brenny, what the heck this be? And I've just arrived, obviously late to Adam's house for the walk.
and Brenny, being the certified mechanic that he is, knew exactly what the issue
Knew
was
exactly.
straight away, didn't he?
No, I'm a suspension specialist. Sorry. Get an alignment and I'll help you.
Yeah.
No,
I don't have an alignment, bro.
I definitely like there's my word, bewildered, baffled. Yes,
You got there.
I think that's the easiest word that you fucked
Yeah, I
up.
know,
so-
right? Yeah. Look, it's late. Someone
is
was
late.
doing their coils before.
Oh,
No,
sorry.
Like I said, don't hold it against you because I guarantee there's going to be a day we walk out there and the Starlet doesn't start. Don't know if the headlights are on right now from our Macca's trip.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, I was definitely baffled by that one. It was really bizarre. Like I did all the little mechanical tricks. Like if you gave it to me this morning, I would have been like, oh, that's something engine. Let's pop the hood.
Yeah.
Because it's so related to your throttle and no movement. So it's just a bizarre issue, and I hope it's something little.
I hope it's something little as well. I've had a look at a few little things, and it could be timing related. It could be injector seal related. It could be gasket related. It could just literally just be a hole in a gasket somewhere.
Go to the helpful forums of BRZ Owners Club and tell it. What have they been suggesting?
Yeah, what have they told you?
Rod knock.
Rod knock that comes and goes.
Not rod knock.
It's rod knock that is once, sometimes.
And only when you dab the throttle, you can be cruising.
Yeah, but sometimes you dab the throttle and it's fine.
Yeah, it's a bizarre.
It always does
issue.
it when you turn it on.
I had this. When the car's on, it definitely makes the engine sound. No, when Maggie had her Subi problem, as all Subaru owners have to go through at least once in their lifetime. The amount of people that are like, have you tried this? And they're like suggesting things that aren't cheap. I'm like, look, if I wanted to do something expensive, I'd send it to a Subaru specialist. I would. I'm happy to admit I am not a specialist, but I'm just trying to tick things off, So I did fuel filter, spark plugs, coils. I just moved them all around, seeing if the problem was moving, trial and error things. And everyone was like, why don't you take it to a real mechanic? You know how much of a slap in the face that is?
Real mechanic.
Do you think the real mechanic would have tried to put in front speakers and soldered a random wire that turned out to be like an earth for the ECU that was randomly hidden under the dash and fixed it?
Is that what you did?
Yes. I fixed it. Because I told Maggie, I'm like,
modern problems require modern solutions, bro.
I told Maggie, I'm like, babe, because she wants to get down all these mods to her car, and I'm like, she's got a little list on her phone. It's not a little list, and I'm like, babe, we can't do any of that until we fix the engine problem. Because if the engine's broken, we're gonna have to replace the engine. That's gonna be more expensive than all of these mods you want to do. So she gets herself some speakers, and I'm like, might as well install them. It can't hurt. And as I pulled the dash apart, I noticed the car's been around. It's had multiple owners, multiple doors. You know what's funny? On the door, it has a Evo 7. For some reason, Subaru WRXs had a series called Evolution 7.
Which I find so dumb.
So annoying, right?
I came across that once.
Yeah, so she has, one of her doors was just silver. Actually, she had the original Evo 7 door. It had a dent in it or something.
It's weird saying Evo 7,
yeah,
bro.
I know, right?
I don't like it.
let me just call it Series 7.
Yeah, cool. Right, thank you. Yeah.
So she had the original Series 7 door. She took it off because the window mechanism wasn't working or something because they had different plugs. So that was weird. So she puts another door on, and then that's got this. I think that was the one with the plug, and the other one just didn't work. And so we somehow found on Marketplace the exact same silver door with the exact same Series 7 on it, which is very rare.
Yeah.
And so we bought this door that just goes straight on, no problem at all, but plugs in, works, and that was really coincidental. But yeah, put these speakers in. As I went along, I'm anyone that's met me, I'm particular. If it just takes my time, I'll sit there and nerd it out. And so I went through and resoldered all these dodgy wires. Didn't have a problem since. The car was fixed. So I definitely can't complain.
It healed.
Yeah, it
fixed itself.
Limited bash it out.
Yeah.
That's what
Actually, the Prado self-healed. It did.
Here we go.
It did. When I bought it, the central locking did not work.
Yeah.
Oh, you've told me this.
It did not work. And then it must just because it didn't get used. I don't know. It must have sat there for ages or something. Then a month later, I unlocked it, and I saw the little door thing on the passenger side go up, and I was like,
wow.
Because I just got, okay, it mustn't have central locking, which is a bit weird. It's got 4
They
doors.
did a central lock door.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, that's a bit weird. And then I locked it and it went down. So it fixed itself. I didn't even have to do anything. All the doors unlock and lock.
How many times did you sit there and go,
oh, 10 times.
wow.
10 times. It fixed itself. I didn't have to do anything.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
It's the little things. I put central locking in the Starlet, and I'm like, from 10 meters away, I'm like, not holding the handle up and shutting the door for you young folk that don't know you have to do that.
No, I did that in the Prado. I locked my keys in it. It's good.
Do you
I was
think
2
mine's
hours
going
away
to
from home.
self-heal?
It could. You never know.
That
Miracles
was
happen.
all my drifters' mates' advice. Just limit bash it out. It's a Subi, it'll go away.
It'll self-clear.
And then every Subaru owner's like, you painted the rocker cover, or whatever they're called in a Subaru. You need to get a tune. Every Subaru owner's like, you need to, you know how much stuff I've pulled off that
Install a
engine?
sticker. You need to get a tune for that one. Then.
100%. They're like, I've got the cob. Like, it's just like,
Stage 2 cob air filter.
hang on. Although those cob things are really cool. I saw like they'll full just give you like the full ECU
Yeah,
readout
we're all
the time.
Subi guys, aren't we? You've had a Subaru.
Yeah, I'm
you've
a
had
Subaru.
Don't you dare call me a Subi guy.
Yes, 100%. I've seen you drive one.
Yeah.
I've seen you drive
I
one.
gas that car.
You and Mags are a couple. That makes you a whole. That makes you
Couple
one
of
singular.
besties.
Oh, God.
Thanks for listening, babe. Number one listener.
Cringe as fuck. But no, 100%. If you guys are a couple and you've driven her car, that makes you a Subi guy because you enjoy
Yeah,
it.
if you're a car guy,
Has your missus driven the RX-7?
Not the RX-7, no, because she doesn't know how to drive manual that well. So I let her drive the BRZ, which is probably the reason it's fucked.
Fair point.
Yeah, 100%. She drove it
I
about
sent her the invoice.
3 months ago. I reckon she drove it.
And since then, you started.
Ever
hearing
since
that
then, I've
sound.
started to notice noises.
That's why I went off track.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I can't believe she should do that to me. Yeah, do you want to know something funny about the Subaru forms though? Especially the 86 and BRZ forms. So when I was actually looking for the
Do
car,
they like clash? The 86 and BRZ.
They do.
They
They
do,
do.
100%.
Like in the forms?
yeah, because
Wait.
it's one of those
What
things.
are you guys calling it?
What do you mean?
Forums.
What forums? FORUMS.
They were
forums.
saying, listeners, they were saying forms first, right? And I'm like, what the fuck? Is this some youth thing I don't
Why
know
are we
about?
taking like English lessons from the guy
The guy that can't talk.
But I was like, oh my God, is there something new I don't know about?
I
Like,
know, I'm slurring because of this iced latte
I don't know
that
what
we
we've
got
had.
from
straight vodka ice
Macca's.
latte.
Well, no, we do clash a little bit. Like the 86
We
guys,
do clash.
Wait,
I
us 86
I am not in these things anymore. But yeah, no, the 86 guys, they like to pretend and annoy the BRZ guys because the BRZ guys usually spend $5,000 to $10,000 more on the same car, basically.
Yeah, that is
so the
pretty
BRZ
funny.
guys like to not affiliate with 86 owners,
Big
but the
win to the
86 owners
86
like to
owners.
affiliate with BRZ owners, which is quite funny. This is why I'm not in these
He's
clubs
always
anymore.
he always acts like he's not a part of these like little cults, but then says a story. Like,
Yeah.
but we don't really hang out with them. I mean, they don't really hang. You know, like he backs himself into the spot. 100%.
Yeah, I kind of jump in on the fun sometimes, and it's good. But the biggest thing I did was when I was actually looking for a car, I put up a post saying, okay, what should I look out for when I was buying a car? Like, should I go for a certain year? Should I go for a certain model and stuff like that? And everyone's like, well, you can't actually buy one that's older than 2015. I'm like, what do you mean? There's 2012s, 2013s, 2014s available for sale. Why can I not buy one of these? And I had like 20 comments instantly within 15 minutes saying that I couldn't buy anything older than a 2015. So finally someone answered me and I said, why can I not
it's
buy
the
a car
engine
older?
problem, right?
No.
Oh.
Because you can't get a car loan on a car older than 2015 at the
Oh
time.
my God.
And so I went onto there and I said, I have the cash. I'm looking at buying a car in cash, and the likes on that comment
what?
went insane. All these 86 owners were like, "Oh my God, this guy's rich! That's insane!" I had like $15,000 put into a car, and
All the comments
everyone was like freaking out.
You're
I
not
was
using your
royalty.
cash on a wide body kit, idiot.
Legit, it was so funny. Like the moment I said that I was paying cash for a car, everyone was like, "Oh, okay, rightio. Well, you do you, hun. Fucking go away." But
Isn't
it
the
was
best
hilarious.
way to get a cheap 886 or BRZ to buy a wide-bodied one? I love
Yeah.
it. People
Yeah.
put them up for sale like, I'm just wanting what I paid for it. So they'll put like
Because
the
they
15
look
grand
so
car,
shit.
15 grand
I
wide
had
body
plans
kit.
to turbo it.
Yeah, I had plans. Perfect base to turbo it. The airbags are blown, but I've got the stock suspension still. And they're like, just looking to make up the money I paid for it. And then they always end up taking like 10K because they've gone through the guards and all.
Yeah. Like it's such
all
a P-plater
nasty.
thing to do though. Like a P-plater with a little bit of cash would go out, buy a wide body kit, cut up their car, get defected the next week, and then put up their car for sale for the same amount of money they bought it for.
You know,
it's so
for
dumb.
a fact that there's that guy in that situation you just said, paying off the loan for the car, spending his disposable money on wide bodying it.
Paying
And
off his
then-
2015.
Yeah.
That he's just cut up.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
I don't know. I was so like, oh my god, am I gonna get defected for everything I did to my car? People nowadays seem to like, oh yeah, I just cut the guards. Oh, that's not cool. You know, like
yeah.
I feel like you don't really get done for that stuff though.
you do, you really do, and it's like
Yeah.
when it's that,
But like in the four-wheel drive world, I see so many people driving around with like so obviously illegal mods, and I never like. Sometimes they do get done, but like they're so obvious. Like the biggest you can go is a 33-inch wheel on most cars, and they're running like 37s, like fucking obvious. And I don't see them get done all the time. Then there's other people that's like, oh yeah, I had a 3-inch lift, and you can only go 2 inches.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
what?
It's time and place and attitude with
Yeah, I
the
guess
police,
so.
but like at the end of the day, we have very strict road laws, and I've always just been like, yeah, my wheels are hanging out the guards. I don't really visually like it, but I just can't be bothered buying good fitting wheels.
In four-wheel drives, you're safer like around here and around the city than you are when you go away.
Why is that?
You get defected when you go away, and you
By
know,
the
you-
like
because the
proper-
cops actually know what they're
yeah,
looking at.
yeah.
Yeah,
looking
okay,
for.
fair enough.
Whereas around here, they got no idea. Most of them, anyway.
Oh, you drive a Supra on your P plates. Every cop on my P plates in that car. Can you just pop the hood?
Really?
Yeah, they all thought I was
Wow.
like, mate, I'm driving an automatic.
You'll pop the hood.
Yeah, pop the hood, stock 2J, nothing going on. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah,
always so
dumb.
nervous. I always gave the cops my credit, debit card. Oh heck! Look like I'm trying to pay them off or something. No, I'm just nervous as for some reason.
That's funny. I've done that before as well. I freaked out. Some cop was like, I went to an RBT and I was pulling up, and he's like, "Oh, hi, Zach." I'm like, "Oh shit! How does this bloke know my name?" I freaked out, and I'm just like, how do you know my name?" And he's like, yeah, your license plate might give it away." I'm like, "Oh yeah." It's like
Zach
he's like, "Am I sure I need to breath test you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, probably." And then I ended up getting my card out, but it was my actual my
You got
Mastercard
the
at
breath
the time.
test up.
And he literally looks at the breath test. He's like, "I'm definitely going to breath test you now." I'm like, "God damn it." So I put it away. I blew 0.
Oh, you
and-
get the option, bro. They always
Yeah.
like.
Oh, no. As in, he was just being funny
Yeah.
because you just like got me so many times. But yeah.
I like
So
having a
dumb.
good old chat to the
I've had that.
It's
RBT
good.
people.
Yeah. I
Because
like
they're
it.
normally just trainees. Like, that's
Yeah, and they
normally
don't
what
really
are.
care.
Yeah.
No.
They're like, you drive past there, it's like 11 o'clock at night, and they're so sick of standing out in the cold or whatever. Sometimes they're up for a good chat.
certainly.
I've gotten verbal warnings off of them, like, car's a bit lower than it should be. You're gonna look into that after you drive away, right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna park it for a week and then just hope you never see me again. The Club Reg thing's a vibe. Though you said only Zachary did car things. My car has been driven now. It's only got a fuel line as a coolant line right now, but you know,
Beautiful.
the S13's back at it again.
Very nice.
It's a very nice feeling to have my car back somewhat.
I did something extremely minor, which I want to rant about. The number plates.
Oh God.
What?
You reminded me with your plates saying you
Yeah,
got personalized
yeah.
plates. So on the Troopy, I had personalized plates that
Yep.
said Adam 98. So the Troopy is still here, but it's sold. So the guy's still got to pick it up. So I had to
By
change the plates.
helicopter.
So I had to change the plates, right? So how it works, you take them off the Troopy, you have to get new plates for the Troopy, and then you just put them onto the Prado. That's the sequence that I'm going for. To take them off the Troopy, and they give me new plates, $30.
Yep.
For me to take these plates that I already own and put them on the Prado,
$125.
$170.
Get done.
Daylight robbery. That's insane.
I already own it's literally no different. There is no difference. The thing that is different is they're giving me new plates.
You don't understand. It's the admin overhead. They had to type in your new number plate into the
Yeah,
system.
and
But
then
they had
press
to type
OK.
in the new number plate of the Troopy that they gave me.
Look, I'm not here to... I'm just here to be devil's advocate.
Fuck them.
Oh, bro, the VicRoads people, I swear, hate me. They're always going there. I'm like, I just got a defect for being too low. It's not actually too low. And they're like, yeah! And they get their little rolling wheel out. Meanwhile, at home, I have a little bit of PVC pipe bolted to a stick so I can do my own roll test to make sure I'm good. Yeah, not a fan of it. Wait, so what did you do?
No, I had to do it.
Oh, you just didn't like paying for it?
I just didn't like paying for it.
I thought you were going to say I just put them on and then got done or something.
I just didn't like paying $170 to take a plate that I already owned and put it on the car.
I swear it was $125 when I did it because I got my number plates, Brennib. But I got
What plates?
Brenny B.
Oh, Brenny B. Oh, right.
Brennib, for sure.
Brennib. Yeah, okay, rightio.
So I really wanted to drive my car and they're like, well, your custom plates are coming. We can get, we can put it in those, but you won't be able to drive the car for 3 days. And I'm like, no, I want to drive the car. And so I put normie plates on for 3 days. And then I get my custom plates and I go in. I'm like, yep, just want to register these to the car. And they're like, 125 or 70 or whatever it is. And I'm like, well, you didn't tell me that.
No, they don't care.
Yeah, no, they don't care at all. I feel like they're really angry, but they also have to deal with like these
I had a very
people.
passive aggressive person. She pissed me off. So like because of COVID and everything, I had the big screens up and stuff.
Yeah.
Acting
And
all
she was
superior.
talking so quietly.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm like, I can't hear you. I'm like nearly leaned around the freaking perspex to hear her.
Yeah.
And then she was getting annoyed at me because I couldn't hear her. I'm
Don't
like,
you love the
you work in customer service. Speak up.
we have all these like little perspex everywhere, but everyone's like, can't hear.
Yeah,
put
can't
their
hear.
head- Put their
Head
head in
around.
under. I think Zachary will relate. Us short folk are allowed to whinge about this.
Yes.
But someone's short at the deli, just they're speaking right into the meat. So it doesn't like the meat must be super
so
sound
oddly
absorbing.
specific.
Like, oh, like soaks up all the sound. And so they're like,
I don't know why you're dragging me into this bullshit fucking
400
argument.
grams of chicken. And they're like,
I don't know why you're dragging me into this bullshit thing that only you think about because I have never thought about this shit in my life, dude.
I just think because it's more of a problem that I'm not tall enough to also speak down over the top of it.
Can't speak down to
we've-
them,
Yeah,
yeah.
come on, you will get me. No, like because we're both shorter than the bloody deli and they've got this soundproof cone. I just can't hear a thing.
Oh, yeah, I can't. Yeah, I forgot about the last time I was getting deli meat, and then I'm like, wow, the acoustics of their voice must be getting lost in the meat below them. It's ridiculous.
Well, he doesn't get deli.
Actually, I have a really funny story about
if
deli
you tell
meat.
a deli story right now, go on, tell us.
Yeah, I have a deli story
here
about
we
that.
go.
Well, you know when you go like, all right, let's just go. I want 400 grams of ham. That one, like friggin' the smoked ham right there. No worries at all. She was like the most depressing bitch I've ever met in my life. All right?
I think what I said was nicer and funnier.
Sorry, yes, my apologies. No, she was a very really unkind.
Use a nicer word, like fuckhead.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
she's having a bad day.
She just didn't like seeing me. Anyway, so she.
Wait. She had just got yelled at by me, like, can't hear you!
She's served Freddy before. Just 400 grams of chicken.
And Zachary walks in like, what's your problem? Oh, too good.
So I ended up getting my ham, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, righty. Well, I want 400 grams of this, and she gets it, and she you know how they go like, that is 370 grams, all right. I'm like, yeah, no worries at all.
Don't
And-
believe you. You're picky. You're like 400.
Well, that's the thing. So I got 370 grams of ham, and then I'm like, yeah, I just want some salami as well. I want 400 grams of that too. She picks it out, right? She puts it on the scales, and it comes out to 3.998. And I had the audacity to say, yeah, that's fine.
Wait, 3.98 kilos?
3.9.
She was like,
Take the whole tray and dump it on the scales.
sorry, no.
Hey, I was going to get more out the back.
Sorry, no. I asked for 400 grams. No, sorry, my bad. She got it out, right? And it was like, sorry, it wasn't 3.998. It was 0.39, like 398 or something like that. So it was 2 grams off exactly what I asked for. And I had the audacity to say, yeah, that'd be all right. And she looked at me with the blankest face, like, "Are you for serious, mate?"
Bro, I legit will cheer them on when they go like 400 exactly.
Oh, it's impressive.
I'm like,
Yeah,
It's impressive.
yeah.
you killed it today.
But no,
Don't
this-
even have to yell at
This
you.
poor chick looked at me like, "You seriously want me to fish out 2 grams of ham and put it into this fucking bag right now?" But yeah, no, I felt really
I
bad.
had,
doing
I had
that.
this person the other week. I asked for 200 grams and put down 280. Like, is that all right? I'm like, No. I don't need 280 grams
Small
of ham.
numbers like that, it's a significant amount extra. Because once they've like gone to 500, I'm like, fuck, this is a lot more.
Did you really say no? You don't want 208 grams?
No, it's
80.
280.
Oh, 280.
80,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, maybe
That's
maybe
like
they
50%.
surely we can create a maths rule to just work out how much
is okay.
How much is okay?
A
Because I
percentage.
feel like
it's got to be a percentage.
Do you,
Yeah.
do you
Because,
guys ever
like-
get the when they're like dollars or grams? I'm like, yeah, I want $400 of chicken. Like,
I've never had that.
they
before.
always
never.
they're like
Never.
grams, and I'm like, what? If I
Kilos.
say kilos,
400 kilos of
dollars,
chicken.
like I can't think of what other answer
I've just
goes
asked for
there.
2,000 grams of ham,
Yeah.
not dollar weight.
400 views.
Yeah,
What?
400 pieces. I don't know what that translates to, but it always baffles me.
Yeah,
so I
like-
had to slide that in because it's
Yeah.
setting off my
Like,
Tourette's.
surely, like I feel like if you ask for 200 grams and they give you 240, that's a fair enough assumption.
That's as high.
But 245,
I'd say
that's close to
240 would be my
250.
max if I asked for
I'd go
200.
250.
Yeah. So if you ask for
Nah.
500 grams, right, that's a lot of meat.
Yeah.
That's a lot of meat.
Oh,
right.
moot.
All right.
Yeah.
How much can they undercut you?
Yeah,
though?
but that's the thing.
Ooh.
Undercut has to be a smaller percentage
Yeah.
than an overcut.
Yeah.
I'd rather them overshoot. Just overshoot me 15 grams. We're good. Let me get out of here.
So if you ask for like 400 grams of chicken, you would be okay walking out with 450 grams?
yeah.
Right.
They've
I
given
don't
me
think-
500 before, and I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think I would, if it was 400 grams, anything under 375, I don't think I would accept.
Ooh, that's a tough one. You're a
This
tough
is the
one.
weirdest. This is the
This
weirdest.
is
topic.
interesting though. This is what the people want
This
to
is
hear.
what the people.
like, I
this has got to
finally-
be the most relatable story, though,
100%,
right?
yeah.
Finally tuned how much like ham that I need. So if I'll go 400 grams, and if you give me like 360, I'll be like, it's not enough.
You know what they?
That's like a day.
You know what
That's
they
a day.
should really do is they should be telling you when it's gonna go off. So I get chicken.
Mm.
So if it's fresh, I got a little while. But if it's already been out there for 2 days or whatever, or wherever they get it from, I don't know. I don't question it because I don't really want to know. Like the
Definitely
next
not
day-
1 or 2
I
days.
get-
It's a lot longer.
I get 500 grams, and like the next day it looks yuck, and I'm like, why would you not mention like, hey mate, you're gonna eat all this today? Because like surely they'd have some note of that, right? The date written
You'd
on
think
something. Because
so.
if they didn't, wouldn't that be illegal? Like they're like selling chicken like this, like 3 years old.
When they cut an individual slice of ham, put a sticker on it.
Yeah,
Expire the next day
400
into the bag.
That's number 400. Brendan will be buying. All right, we've got to get off the deli meat.
Yeah, okay, let's
We've
quickly
spent
jump
too
off
long
that.
on deli meat.
It turns out we're all very passionate about deli
Well,
meat.
we're not really passionate about the whole racing thing. Like,
No, definitely not.
Tell us about your car problem, because we led into Maggie's car problems and got
Yeah.
off of your car problem.
Yeah,
which
so
is,
the car's currently developed after yesterday's track day, and I went off track. I thought I did a wheel bearing or something like that because this morning it was like a little pop every now and then, but now it's like it's full on popping every now and then, up hills, accelerating, but it's popping from the engine bay. It's weird. We can't track it down. We've all tried to try.
It was
and
loud enough
find
that
out where this
when he
is.
drove down here this morning, I heard it from inside the kitchen. I
was
heard
like
it. And I was
his
like,
beep.
"What?"
Really?
Yeah, I was like, "What was that?" Like, I didn't know.
Did
that.
you really
I
hear
thought
it
that
from
was
the
your
inside the
exhaust
kitchen?
popping. I was like, "But he doesn't." Like he does.
No,
His
I'm
car
not a
doesn't do
hectic
that.
P plater with a pop and crackle map.
Yeah,
That'd be
yeah.
I found that
insane,
so
yeah.
Zachary goes to Google this problem. And
so
you look
dumb.
up my Subaru's engine is popping. Everyone's like, you really need to get it tuned. The pop and crackle tunes are not actually healthy for the engine. Meanwhile, Zach's like, I've just got a real problem.
I have an actual problem, not a P plater problem. But yeah, no, I don't know how to fix it. Could be timing related, but everything that it's pointing to, right? Timing related or injector seal related or everything. Apparently there's engine lights and codes for it.
Yeah.
I don't have anything on my dash. My car's like, oh yeah, I'm completely fine.
Yeah.
But it's just not. It's not fine.
Because you got
dead.
Jai's scan tool and just deleted
Yeah.
the car's like, I need to chuck an engine light. What the fuck is it? Zach's just fully deleted it.
I've just bricked the ECU completely. But yeah, no, the poor car is not healthy at the moment. I don't know how I'm going to fix it. I don't know what the problem is. My freaking certified mechanic friend can't even figure out the
would like
problem.
to,
But yeah, oh well.
My first guess after doing, casual checks, it kind of sounds like it's near that little sound makey thing that's
Yeah, I
in Zach's
agree.
engine bay.
Yeah.
So I pulled that bitch off and put my hand over it so it shouldn't be making any sound, and it still did the same sound. So that my second guess after having a general look was I feel like Zach's been at the track and it's jumped a tooth or something.
It's so loud that it has to be like something with the actual engine, not like a little like induction pipe.
Yeah,
thing. Like,
yeah.
I had kind of hoped that it was just like really something shit. Like when you rev it up, it's pulling the air filter and just like whacking it or something.
Yeah.
But we had a pretty good look. So I unfortunately want to put my money on something timing related. I feel like we could all put a bet on because Zach's going to have to hunt for this issue. If anyone that doesn't know Zach, this weekend is going to be Zach pulling his whole car apart.
You know what? I had one weekend where I'm like, you know what? I'm not booking anything whatsoever. I'm going to have a weekend off. Adam asked me to come watch the drifting on Sunday, and I'm like, you know what? I could watch it at home. And you know,
F1, right?
No, F1's this
D1
weekend.
NZ.
Oh, yeah,
D1NZ, yeah. The F1's on this weekend as well.
Invite. I did. You didn't invite me. I was doing the merch orders probably when you also gave Zach a nice treat.
I invited everyone.
Yeah, fair point.
Everyone's involved.
So yeah, I'm like, yeah, you know, I can have the weekend off to myself. I've had a big weekend with, I had 2 guests over and we had 3 days off and I was doing stuff all 3 days. I replaced this like coil packs in my BRZ because it was an absolute pain because I had a freaking coil pack light from my last track session because I just have dumb issues.
Hence when he deleted the check engine light.
Yeah, when I deleted the check engine light.
Yeah,
so.
honestly, you might not be wrong. You never know.
What do you mean?
You might have put your car in, nah, it's all right mode.
I didn't delete the check engine light for eternity.
How crazy, you might not know, but the 86s and BRZs, like ECUs, like you just flash them and you can run on E85 with a turbo. Plug in some OBD thing. You've got boost sensors.
Cool.
You do such little things to these
How
cars.
it should be.
Yeah.
Like what? The A90 Supra. Anything after 2020, you have to take the ECU out, send it to some bloke in Germany so he can unlock it.
them.
The
and
guy
it
that
gets
bought
sent
you
back.
your troopy.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool. Like the Falcons used to be the same. Like you could just go down to any tuner, they would load up PCM Tech, which would be on the standard ECU. You could have 8 tunes and launch control on
What a
E85.
boring name, right? Surely that stands for Power Control Module Tech.
Yes.
At least WAC. I should have called it the WAC Tech. WAC.
But yeah, you can get like flex fuel, and you can get launch control and everything just through the cruise control.
Yeah.
It's freaking cool. You can change tunes on the fly, like as you're driving down the highway, just hold in the cruise control button. You can change it from like high power to low power or valet mode or whatever.
The BRZs do that too.
Freaking cool. Yeah, I love it.
The
It's wicked.
R35, the giveaway that we did at work, R35 was like that too.
Yeah, I remember
Between
it
the flame map
Flamey
and
Yeah,
boy
the flame
mode.
maps. And I was like, so how does it work? And Tracy's like, just show me. He's like, yeah, it's just cruise control and then it's the RPMs. And
Yeah,
I was like, oh, that's sick.
It's so cool. Like I remember years ago, Mighty Car Mods did it with I want to say it was a Saab or something. They got the cluster and they got like some guy to basically put a circuit board in it so you could like push 2 buttons and it goes into boost mode and you can like change the display and change settings on the car. And I loved that idea. I geek out over stuff like that. I always want to do, like, you see the taillights where they're like, I want to learn how to make that stuff, but don't have the time or brain power. And I remember this lad from when I went to TAFE. One day he rolls up and he's like, oh, bro, you like my car? And he points at some random Volvo thing. I'm like, what? Well, like, what? He was a drifty boy. We're at TAFE, he had a KE70, S13, you know, and like always liked drift cars. And then this random Volvo thing, and he's always like, check this out. And he's showing me he has a dash like that. Like he's got it like wide up, and I'm like, this is the first time I've ever seen it in person in like a 90s car. When he's pressing the 2 buttons and it's like doing custom settings on the like tiny little fluoro orange like LCD that Euro cars have, and it's so cool. Like, tuning stuff's cool.
I do dig it. It's very, very sick.
I would love to learn it, but it just seems like one of those things where you're playing with. I always like a mate that possibly will be a guest one day, does his own like tinkering with it. And I'm just like, I will break my car. Yeah, 100%.
I would blow shit up.
Easily.
Like, look,
Yeah.
you deleted a check engine light. Look now what's going on now, man.
I wasn't even tuning it. It's still stopped.
Tune delete.
Format all
should be right. Do they have sort of stuff like that with four-wheel drives as well?
Nah, you just turn the fuel screw.
Yeah.
That's what scares me about four-wheel drives, hey, because so many of them are
That's
just like, yeah, we'll just
diesels.
add more fuel to it.
So
No
that's
worries at
diesels
all.
with a mechanical pump.
Yeah.
Right.
That's all. So the older cars.
You know what I
I
like
did that
in
with the Troopy.
the
Turbo
newer...
it. Just they call it cowboy tuning. They have like a safety cap on it, so you have to like pry it off.
Nope.
So you have to pry it off and get it off, and then you like turning this screw, and
It
you
says do not
you
remove.
literally like go and do like send it up a hill or something. You see where the EGTs get, you go, yeah, I could go another half turn.
It's like car tuning, but really scuffed. I like with the four-wheel drives those throttle controllers. I feel like they came out like they have they use them in the 86s and stuff
They
now too.
don't
It's
do
like
anything though.
no, they do.
Do they really
So
though?
on
if you press
some
your
cars.
throttle down really hard, your car is electric, so it's programmed to still open it at a pace.
Yeah.
It deducts that pace, so your it
Right.
is attached to your foot.
Okay, all I thought it did was literally just half throttle
Yeah,
down.
no.
It would open it up full throttle, and it would just make it feel
Nah,
more.
Yeah,
it
no,
just
I
gets
watched-
just gets
yeah.
rid of the lag.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So like let's say you were drifting your 8.6, you want that little bit of throttle response. You're probably like feathering the throttle if it could drift. Because with the stickies you've got on it, it's not going. The only way you're going
Well, no, it
sideways
definitely
is a
drifted last-
180 kilometer entry.
Definitely drifted last weekend.
Yeah, fair point.
Yeah.
I looked into it because Maggie's brother actually got it for her sister's boyfriend. Doesn't matter. And I was like, I don't really think that does anything. So I Googled him. I'm like, that's really cool. Like it kind of makes it more like drive-by-wire or
Yeah,
cable,
drive-by-wire.
whatever.
Cable, yeah, or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
I never remember.
Why
what
do they
one's
call
what.
it drive-by-wire?
Yeah,
if
I
it's
know,
not an
right?
actual- I
They should
hate
call it
that.
drive-by like electric throttle or something. I
Yeah,
don't
you
know.
just call it electric throttle or something like that. Don't
Well-
call it drive-by-wire because wire to me is the
Is the
fucking
cable.
cable. Do you not agree with this? You're sitting there with a blank face,
Well,
like you
my
don't know.
cars have a cable that run out and it fucking pulls on a thing which opens the
Oh, Adam.
throttle.
So
Yeah, can you explain?
New cars.
New cars
Yeah.
from not the early 1990s.
From not when dinosaurs were
Yeah.
around. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're telling me that you guys own cars that you can't rev from the engine
Whoa,
bay?
whoa. I do not. Zachary does,
I do.
though.
I hate that.
His car, yeah. So
I hate not being able to rev the car from the engine bay.
the thing that scares me is like, I feel like it's got so much room for error. If like, you have like, you put your dodgy sound system in, as all 86 owners do. Your sub power comes loose. Suddenly, it's your throttle's like like going off, you know. And then to put a plug in between that to hack it.
When
Scary.
have you actually heard of an electric throttle actually properly opening though, like and sticking open?
Oh, I haven't.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
right.
they're all dead, so they can't speak about. No,
Oh, Jesus.
a bit morbid.
I had to win this argument.
Yeah.
No,
I think we can all agree that drive-by-wire is the shittest name for drive-by-wire. 100%. It
Do you
should
get
be
what it
electronic
is?
throttle or something like that. So
No,
they call it
explain.
like an electric throttle that doesn't have a cable drive-by-wire.
Yeah, it's not drive-by-wire then.
Yeah, so you press your pedal, and then your ECU goes, "Give it this much throttle, please."
It's not
Yeah.
drive-by-wire.
And then your
It's still
throttle's
controlled
like,
by a fucking
Yeah.
computer.
and then you put your little hacker box in
Exactly
there,
right,
and it's
yeah.
like, you know, like
Yeah.
really aggressive. The
Yeah.
video was really cool. I really enjoyed it. Would recommend.
Yeah, so they call that drive-by-wire when it
Yeah, that's
doesn't
not
have a wire.
right. That's not right.
So
The
whenever
tru-
I hit drive-by-wire throttle, it's like, oh yeah, I've upgraded to the drive-by-wire throttle. So you upgraded to the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm just dumb.
The Trooper used to have an idle up screw thing and it literally just pulled the wire slightly.
Yeah.
so it would idle up.
Yeah. Well, the Skylines have the same thing, isn't it? Where you screw in a
just
screw
like-
and
yeah.
it literally just opens the butterfly valve just a
Yeah.
little bit. Yeah.
So good.
Because you gotta have a little bit of air going in.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Have you guys ever started a car without the intake on it and just like full pelts?
No.
Yes.
I've seen people
No, I
do it
haven't.
and freak
I started
out.
up my last Civic without an IACV.
Oh, it would
And
have
it
just
let
been like
all the
more
air
air
in.
in.
Yeah. It was cold too, and it just like redlined straight away. I'm like, yeah. So I left it running for 2 minutes to see if it came good. No, I'm just joking.
oh my god, Zach. Man, the VTEC's really epic.
I was a D16Y4, so it didn't even have VTEC, but it was love and
Don't
life.
do a math equation with me, man. Don't know what
It's a
that is.
D16.
Yeah, equals what?
A B16 is a cool one,
Wait,
isn't it? B20, K20, K24.
K20, K24 is the best one. Then
Named
then
an
B
engine
series.
at some point.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they did a D series and then a J series, which I think was in the S2000, but I'm not quite sure.
I don't know Hondas.
I think K24 is really cool. I saw I don't know if it was Kyle shared or someone. I saw the K24. Is it K24 or is it KA24? I can't remember.
K24.
Yeah, I think KA is like what's in the 240s in America.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so I saw they did a K-Swap RX-7 and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Like, get rid of the rotary head case, put something really unique. I don't know. Although, is it really unique? It seems like everyone's doing those swaps now.
There's a few of them around, but they're very small in Australia because you can't really get them registered.
Yeah,
and
why do
stuff
they
like that.
do it? Why is that such a popular swap? Where does that engine come from?
I mean, you're taking out. So the K series is 50 kilos lighter than a rotary,
Yeah.
and a rotary is a headache.
Oh, no.
So-
That's not my question.
Yeah.
Why is everyone doing K24 swaps? Because I see they do them in the MX-5s, which sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
That is way too much power for a tiny little car.
So K series come in a lot of cars. Like you have them in the Accords, you have them in the Civics, you have them in everything. So you can just get your grandma's, Accord.
Yeah.
Euro, and you buy them for like $6,000. You take out an engine that can produce with a turbo 400 horsepower off the standard NA bottom end.
Yeah.
It's better than an SR.
Did
and
you
it
check-
revs higher and everything. So
Have you watched Hertz series of him putting one in a 180?
I watched a little bit.
I wish
yeah.
he put one in a 180. He's like, it's my reliable seat time car. God, that is the most complex car, but I get what he...
Is that his main one? Or
No,
is it,
that's a FC RX-7, which has had like 7 different engines at this point.
yeah.
He's got a lot of cars. He's got like an AE86 as well, and I don't know. I used to binge watch Hoonigan, and then they split their channel into like 9 different channels for different things, and it just became like it was almost like I stopped seeing their content. The things I wanted to watch. They did it like build versus build series. I really like that.
It was cool.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's another series of it I'd like to
I
watch.
love the this versus that thing that they were doing for a while. Like the
I
drag
got
strip
over
ones.
it, but that car, that Hoonicorn, is
Insane.
crazy.
Yeah.
That was a crazy car.
Yeah, no, I love that series. I think they did a really good job. But yeah, no, like the K24s, it's just there's so many of them around. It's like an SR. There's a reason people do SR swaps. There's a reason there's people that do K swaps. And the VTEC sounds pretty cool as well. I actually didn't realize how cool VTEC sounded until I drove that Tampered Motorsports car. And it is like, it makes the world of difference and it sounds incredible. It's wicked.
I feel like it'd be like, I don't know. I could definitely feel like in the Supra, in the S13 when it was NA, like that point where the engine's like timing itself. I feel like it would just be that, but on like steroids.
Yeah, it's
pretty
pretty
cool.
cool. I like it. It's very fun, but yeah. I don't think they'd
It
do
would
much.
make it more entertaining to drive.
Yeah.
Gives you like a little power band.
Yeah.
Why isn't it always there though? That's what confuses me. Like if they have this
Because
extra
it's
power,
for like, isn't it for low down power
No, it's for your
and fuel
high
economy?
end.
No, like the reason
Yeah.
why
Oh,
they have
yeah.
the smaller one.
no,
Yeah,
but
correct.
could they wind it up so it just is always like full?
No. So if you had it wound up, depending on the timing of the engine, you would have less power down low, and then whatever it is. So, same as the RB25 and like with the VCT heads and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's basically VTEC's just VCT, like variable
Yeah,
cam
yeah.
timing. Yeah. So there is a point where if you have it open, you'll create less torque at a different RPM range. So usually what you do when you tune them, you've seen when they tune them, don't you? So you run them with the VCT completely off, and then one with them on.
Yeah.
And usually you'll find a really big difference in like with a crossover in the actual tune. And then you find the exact RPM when you change them over, and that'll give you the peak torque throughout the entire run. It's pretty cool.
I saw Adam do that with the R34, I think.
Yes.
He
Yeah,
had,
because he
like-
has HKS VCAM in that 26, which is so baller.
Yeah.
That is a crazy
He
setup.
was showing how much power it had, and I'm like, oh my god! And I will admit, because like the S13's SR is non VCT, I'm pretty sure, and then the S14's one, it just comes on so much sooner. Like especially with the ball bearing turbo versus the non ball bearing, like I have to wait like till 5,000 revs before it's like full 10 pounds of boost. And I've only got 2,000
And
revs
they're
left.
tiny turbos as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, exactly. Whereas like, and I did myself dirty. I bought all this like cheap intercooler and steam manifold. And I think I ended up negatively affecting myself more than the stock stuff because the guy I bought my S14's engine off, he took me for a drive in it and like it was at full boost at like 2,500 revs. And I'm like, oh my God, like he's got so many more revs to use than me. I'm sitting there in my like, picturing 4,500 revs.
Yeah. So one thing I wanted to ask Adam especially. So with four-wheel drives, a lot of people like to swap in stuff like barras and all that sort of stuff, which I can understand because barras are torquey.
Yep.
Why do people swap in stuff like RB25s and all that sort of stuff? Is it just because they sound cool? Because I know
I thought it was.
They don't make
Yeah,
the torque.
they're
They're a
not-
2.5 liter. Like
Yeah, they're not really that good for full driving.
right.
Because you need torque, which is why you don't see a lot of 2Js and stuff. Like,
Right.
they're sick when they're done and they're on song. Like,
Yeah.
that's cool. But if you want to do any like slower stuff, they just they don't really work. Which is why the barras are super popular right now because
Yep.
they're so torquey.
Really?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
they
Barrasop
fit.
GQs. People pump them out like once a week. It's freaking cool.
So many people just do NA barras.
Yep.
They don't even turbo them.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
because
really-
they take out like the donk that's in them because they're the petrols that came out back then were just useless. So then they just put in an NA barra and happy days.
That's
Works
really
well.
cool. That's really. Do they keep it auto? And how do they, if they were to,
Auto
how do
or
they,
manual.
how do they keep
whatever.
it all-wheel drive? Are they doing like a converter?
They use the same transmissions, but then have adapter plates that
Yeah,
then
yeah.
works with it. So like people
Interesting.
just make the plates because it's so popular.
I
now.
thought-
it's like LS swaps, really.
I
It's the
thought
same.
like a huge thing about four-wheel driving was like having a diesel. So like, is that a problem? Like, are they just putting a big fucking snorkel and trying not to drown the engine, or?
In what way? What are you talking
Well, if you
about?
put a barra in your car, it's no longer petrol, and therefore it's petrol now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Over a diesel
Yeah.
engine. Doesn't that mean you can suffocate it and struggle?
You can, so basically if you get water inside of a diesel motor, you're fucked. Like any
The same,
kind of
yeah.
water. But like you can get a bit of water inside a petrol motor and it'll kind of piss and fart and it'll get out and it'll be okay depending on how much
Yeah.
water there is. But yeah, if you put like, I don't know, 500 mil of water inside a diesel motor, it's dead. It's gone.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought they were meant to be like
No, it works off
impenetrably
because it works off of compression.
It's basically a submarine.
With a snorkel,
Yeah.
With a snorkel, it is. I can't remember which petrols they are, but when they go underwater, the water like something to do with the ignition timing or something. I don't know. I don't know enough
Sucks
about it.
Is it like a...
No, it like shorts out and just like stops working.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you have to like dry it out and that kind of stuff. But then it runs. But if
Well,
you have like a proper snorkel setup and stuff, you can go to the top of your snorkel and your car's fine.
Well, that would be like old distributor engines then, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
'Cause, like
yeah, that's what
coils
I mean.
and
Yeah.
CAS and stuff would be a bit more watertight
Yeah.
than I'd hope. Have you guys ever washed your engine and screwed it up?
Yes, 100%.
When I first got the Supra, I was like, everyone's like, don't wash your engine, don't wash it. I'm like, it's dirty though. And I'm like, no, I'll just, flick it. I didn't know the 2Js have like a divot in the middle. So the water just sat there. And then I'm like, oh crap, what do I do? Like it just started running like trash. And everyone's like, oh, just drive it over. But it was like the heat, because I left the car on the whole time. That's what I was told. I was like, you can wash the engine as long as you leave the car on and don't have a V-shaped engine. That's hot, not a V, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It's got a cavity.
Yeah, it's got a cavity that just holds water. So before I was a mechanic with minimal mechanical knowledge, I'm like pulling this weird, they have, in the RBs, how they have the crossover across the engine.
Yeah, correct, yeah.
NA2Js are the same. So I'm pulling this thing off, coolant's leaking into my V, and I'm like, ah! I drove all the way home, and it was the glowing red exhaust. I probably shouldn't have done that. That car definitely saw a lot of learning that, which in the form of mistreating, in the form of thank you for buying it off me because I don't want to deal with the potential problems that had. Plus, the guy that bought it off me fully repainted it, put a turbo engine in it, and I'm like,
Yeah, nice.
win-win. I didn't really do him dirty if he's
I
going to
did
do
the
all that
exact
anyway.
same thing in my Skyline when I first had it. It had low compression, I had everything, so the car was already absolutely screwed. But did the same thing where I washed the engine And you know what RBs are like. They actually have individual valleys for every single one of the spark plug holes. So yeah, I completely washed the engine, got the car out, and it started running on like 3 cylinders. And I'm like, should be right. Just probably the low compression. So I started giving it some big revs, and it was getting worse and worse. And I'm like, probably shouldn't be doing this. But yeah, I found out very quickly that yeah, you can actually start just misfiring it completely if you just have like water inside the spark plug holes, and it's just coils are just swimming in water. It's probably not good for it, but
makes complete sense.
Oh, well, should be right.
I once when I had my Cressy, I bought a Cressy off a mate, and he bought this really nice one, and he was really meticulous about everything, and went and did all the timing, all the seals. They didn't even need to be done. He could have just driven the car, $600. Anyway. He did the timing belt and didn't notice that the dowels had fallen out. And so he put the timing belt back on, which didn't have the dowel to hold it in place. So after like 10 minutes, it just kind of undid itself and it caused the engine to knock. So I like bolted this engine together and it was knocking and I'm like, oh, heck. And I'm like, oh, maybe I could, like pull it out and like rebuild it. And I'm like, all right, I'll wash it down. I'm washing this engine down. And what I didn't realize, they had these big Allen key holes on the top. I just kind of thought that was like to hold the engine like cover down vibe, just hole into the engine. So I'm like, now I've pulled the dipstick out. I'm like, okay, it's got a light knock, but maybe I could fix that. Pull the dipstick out. It's like gooey as. I'm like, and then I realized I was actually spraying water into the engine. I'm like, yeah, she's gone. Yeah. So I took all the parts off that one because it was a Grande, which had like LSD and better stuff in it. Put that on my $200 GLX one. Had a LSD in the GLX land yacht. I must admit, I miss that car. It was just it's like the Starlet, I didn't really particularly care about it, but it just had like a little bit of cloud about it. It had a tow bar, so I could tow a little box trailer.
One of my friends had a diesel Cressida. I don't know if you ever heard about them.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. It was a Cressida or something Toyota. It was like one of those older boxy sort of VIP cars, but it had a diesel in it. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it is amazing because it sounds just like a truck.
If anyone in the comments knows what he's speaking about, I have no
I'll see if I can find it. I wish I could Google stuff, but yeah.
I think I have seen one diesel Cressida. They're interesting.
They're very cool.
I can't remember which motor it is.
Because I have the 7MGEs. And I think then the previous models like the 5M and then maybe a 3M. And then there was a guy partying out a Mark III Supra and they have the 7M GTE, which is the turbo one. And he was selling the engine for $600 and I'm like, but I was like not mechanically inclined enough to be like pulling a whole engine, swapping them and getting that to work. But that was my dream for my $200 shitbox. Yeah.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah, I sold it to my cousin's mate, and I just feel like he let it rot or like did nothing with it. And he had like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and I never saw anything.
Do you wish you could go back now and buy all these car parts that you saw really cheap? Or I guess at the time you didn't really have the money there, so it wasn't really worth it. But
I hoarded. I'm pretty good at buying the things I want. Like I had the
like a second Starlet.
Yeah.
No, things you need.
It's like a bang for. I know that my Starlet's engine isn't great, so I'm like, there's a chance that goes. So I'm just like subconsciously like get a good engine deal. And I did the same for the S13. I'm like, I'm tracking this a lot, and the only way to get power out of that car was like put the manual ECU in. I'm just revving it to like 7,500, and then bang next gear. And I'm like, I'm probably gonna break this engine someday. So one day, S20 DET Turbski one popped up, $2,700, and I'm like, that's the cheapest they're gonna be for a while. So I just bought it. It sat in the garage for like a year and a half. Blew my engine. Didn't even blow it, but because I already had the engine there, I'm like, ooh, time to be turbo.
That's pretty good, actually. I like that. That's good.
Exactly. Like,
so did you sell the old engine as a brand new, basically ready to go, ready to
bolt
in?
I sold it to Josh Cartelli. He has it in his 180. He agrees that it's the healthiest NASR he's ever experienced. When I sold it to him, I'm like, could be completely head gasket, valves. It could be like rings. I don't know. I drove it home overheating. I put a turbo engine in. I want $1,000 for it because working ones are like $2,000 at the time. I'm pretty sure that it's just the water pump because it only was shooting out the water pump. And he's like, yeah, right. Puts a new water pump in it. Beautiful engine for him.
Perfect.
Definitely, I'm really happy. Like, I feel like if I sold to someone that just disrespected it, I don't know. Like, he is so jazzed with how much power he's getting from that NA that like it was cool to see. Like, I don't mind that I could have kept the car in. I could have just done a $150 water pump.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, but turbo, so much better.
I don't know. I drove on the track. I feel faster, even through like windy mountain roads, like your car. You focus on rolling and being fast and braking as late as possible and being smooth and all that. Now it's just like, oh my God, I hope the brakes like work good enough because the car's got enough power to, scare me, which it isn't very fast. But after driving it, I drove my Starlet for 3 months before my Silvia was down. And then I hop in the Silvia and it feels like 10,000 kilowatts.
I still haven't been in the Silvia.
Yeah, and I think about that every time I drive it. I'm like, that's so funny that like the few times I've taken this to events, it's just never when you're like, yeah, I'll come with you. So we always end up going
now. And I haven't gone in the Silvia.
We've been dating for a year now. That's really cute. But I've been on more cruises with Zachary. We need to do a group cruise.
It's because I don't really have like a cruise car.
Yeah, but you just come with me in the Chilvia. You're the cameraman hanging out recording Zachary. Mags will drive the Subi. I'll drive the Silvia.
Sounds
we'll break
like a
down.
good day.
Sounds like a good day.
Great way to stay in shape.
Great way to stay in shape.
Brenny only found out about that meme last week.
Yeah.
So dumb.
I'm a boomer.
He's 30.
30 in Japan. Less than a month from now.
Ooh, is that scary?
I'm actually really nervous.
Really?
It's just, I get super homesick. I hate.
Oh, about Japan.
Yeah.
I think he was asking about turning 30.
Nah.
Really?
Are you 30 or Japan?
30.
Oh, nah, bro.
I know Japan's fine, dude.
It sneaks up on you.
Go to a few love hotels, buddy. Go to Daikoku Futo. It's just going to be a good time.
I can't say any of those words, so I'm like, Dick Futo. And they're going to be like, Dick Tofu.
Yeah, I know Dick Tofu. Love Hotel. Yeah, legit. Yeah, all right, fair enough. Let's go.
Did you, in Grand Theft Auto, the AE86 looking car is called Futo, which is tofu backwards.
Oh.
Yeah. Little fun fact.
Random fun fact.
Also have a video of like 400k views of how to get it on GTA 5. Check it out. That video's not monetized, just for the organic.
Wait, what was the car called?
The Futo. So it was like tofu but switched.
Yeah.
Are you talking like the last two letters
They
in
switched
front?
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, you just meant backwards, and I was like, that's not.
You get what I mean, man. Ofalu. No, the whole 30 thing, bro, like it was really weird. Like I got to like 18, I'm like, 21's my peak, 21's where I max out and then it starts going downhill. And then I get to 21, I'm like, 25's my peak. 25's my peak. So it starts going downhill. Once I hit that 25, which you fuckers are coming up, every year it's like, I don't feel that different. Then you try to do a handstand, you're like, ah! You're on the ground, my back! And then 26 comes around, you're like, yeah, let's we'll go for a bike ride. You're like, oh, I'm really not fucking balanced on this. And then 27 comes around and Adam's like, let's go snowboarding. And you're like, yeah, I can go snowboarding. Bang! Ball of snow. You've broken your ribs. You feel like a 97-year-old.
That's fully your
Full
fault.
circle. I need to take my
Fully your fault.
I don't think that crashing into a wall is because you turned 27. I think
It
it's
is.
because...
If
My eyesight's
anything, you
worse.
should be smarter.
Your
to not
eyesight's
snowboard.
worse. What are you talking about?
I've been meant to wear glasses my whole life.
Really?
Yeah, I had glasses when I was like 7, and then I had them in my school bag. And
What
my
do
school bag
you
got
have? Do you have like... Do you know what you
Don't
have?
bring my mental disability. No,
Do you know what roughly you have going on mentally? Or
Oh, bro, I've been called dyslexic by dyslexic people, and I really show symptoms. But I hate when people self-diagnose things. So I'm just like, I'm just not the brightest, is what I'll say until someone gives me a real diagnosis. Anyway,
and so you let the brain person do their due diligence. Due diligence.
Due diligence.
Maggie ripping into me after that too, sending me like some person. The guy's like, what? And I'm like, why are you bullying me? Anyway, yeah, I got my glasses like a week later. We're visiting my family, and my mom's car got broken into, and they used my school bag to steal all the stuff in the car.
Oh, mad.
Because, back in the day when you had like CDs and shit, and they'd take the front of your fucking.
Yeah.
What an asshole thing to do, right?
Yeah, it's at the front of your radio.
I can't use this and now you can't use that. Like, fucking assholes. But yeah, and then on top of that, the glasses are mine. And yeah, so I just never got glasses again. This eye is not
What a
good.
shit thing to do, steal someone's prescription sunglasses.
Yeah.
What are you going to do
My
with
mum dogged me
prescription
so-
glasses?
Mum, if you ever hear this, you dogged me so hard though. You got me some Harry Potter ass looking Sonny. Do you want me to get bullied? I was actually really like okay
Stop
with
it,
it.
Ron.
Yeah, Ronald.
Ronald. Oh.
Like
Don't buy me
back in
Stop
my
it.
day, you got bullied for having glasses. You got bullied for playing games. I'm very,
normal now.
very envious of the young
I
lads.
thought you
growing
said
up.
when you were in school you tried to hide all that sort of stuff from your
I did.
friends.
I did
You
because
also
you got
hid the-
bullied.
What do you mean?
You got bullied.
So you also hid the fact you wore glasses?
No, you weren't like the kids with glasses were dorks. Like,
Oh.
you got called a dork. You got pushed around. You got treated differently.
So you were
And
a
now-
closet dork.
Well, no, because my glasses were stolen.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no, but like the whole I remember I got in primary school, it was fine, playing games. That's what kids do. As soon as it was high school, you got bullied for it. And then so I remember I was like the teacher's like, now what does flax make? And I'm like, fucking bowstrings from RuneScape. And I was so G'd up. And then one of the kids, Anthony, looks at me and he's like, I know how you know that. And he's like, do you play RuneScape? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, he didn't want everyone else to know that he played RuneScape at the same time.
No, 100%.
Which is the best thing.
So like we go to school. This is also, I feel like I've told you guys, I forgot my best mate's name. Like my first
Yeah, you told
high
me
school
that.
friend's
You told me
name.
that.
I forgot. And it was like 2 weeks in and someone's like, Anthony, can I borrow your pen? And I'm like, Anthony, yes. Got his name back again. Because no one said it for like 2 weeks. But yeah, like at school, we actually didn't really speak. We listened to music, talked like just at school shit, then went home and played RuneScape for like 8 hours, And that's what you did. You just didn't bring it up at school.
Now you just play it at school.
Yeah, I know, right? I know, right? Even towards my later years, it became like they run just at lunchtime playing CS.
I thought you
and
guys
stuff.
back then were still using slates.
No, we
How
had,
do you,
we had computers.
how do
They
you
were
play?
big.
How do you play RuneScape with like a pen and paper? Like, it's
Also,
just-
what you do, I legit have RuneScape drawings, so go fuck yourself.
Really?
You're like, right, you're drawing your
love
little,
that.
I would like to get a dragon chain body. You're drawing little pictures.
Actually, that's a good one.
Yeah, that
'cause,
was cute.
I mean, like you used to draw at school and stuff like that. When you actually were at school, what did you want to do? What did you draw about at school? What did you want to do when you left high school?
I was super addicted to drawing.
Okay.
I really, I was better than average at school at drawing, but then we had this kid, what's his name? Savada, which was interesting name. Yeah, I know,
Interesting.
right?
Yeah, okay.
And I swear that little fuck was
It
cheating.
sounds like a biscuit.
Yeah,
I
I was
did-
gonna say.
yeah.
I really want a Savada.
So he would come to primary
Sakata.
school. I've drawn my little cartoon character. And then he's got this perfectly 3D sketch of like Beyblade guy ripping the thing out. And I'm like, at the time,
Motherfucker.
I'm like, he did that. And in my head now, I'm like, surely he traced it or his dad did it or something. No kid at that age is full doing shading and stuff. Like this is like if you got a little kid to draw a pony and then one of us drew a pony, like the difference,
Yeah.
Which
It
by
wouldn't
the
be
way,
much
yeah,
different.
right.
It would not be much different.
Okay, let's say someone competent at drawing versus like a little kid, That's what our photos look like. And then mine look like that to everyone else's, And it was really weird. But I wanted to be an electrician.
Ooh.
And then my
okay.
family was like, you have to go in roofs where spiders are. And I was really scared of spiders as a young lad because my cousin used to chase me around with spiders and it made me terrified more than ever of them.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm fine, apart from cockroaches. And yeah, so I gave up on my dream. I gave up on my dreams really like hunchy. If my family says I'm going to have to be in small roofs, which I get claustrophobic, I'm out.
All right.
So I went to auto elec. I wanted to be, a car electrician. I was at the time Need for Speed.
Car election?
Car elec.
Auto elec.
An auto election.
You said car election.
Auto electrician.
Electrician, I forgot half the word. It's there.
Yeah, I definitely knew what you meant.
No, it was when Need
wanted
for
to clear
Speed
it up.
Underground 2 was out, and you could do like the boot of your car, like
Yeah.
with neons and stuff. And yeah, I was like, I want to make that in real life. And then my cousin's like, auto electrician's a dying trade. And yeah, get this though. He's like, it's not really gonna go anywhere, you know. Like,
Oh,
like,
no.
and
Oh,
how
no.
he wouldn't have had this hindsight to know where the world's gone.
True.
But the thing that was real dog is he became an auto electrician.
Oh!
Yeah, and this cousin's like 5 years older than me. Pretty dog act. Like, yeah.
Nah, don't do
Yeah,
that.
no, signing up. Yeah, what did you want to be, Zachary? Did you have any goals and ambitions? I wanted to be a YouTuber. Go on.
No, I always wanted to do filming, but I left high school wanting to do. I wanted to be an architect because I did graphics all the way through school, and I know how
I
to
had an
use
interest in that as well.
It was cool. Did you go graphics at school as well?
Yeah, it was like I never took it much further than high school.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Fucked around at school. That's all I did.
So I was really good at graphics. I know how to use AutoCAD, and I was designing houses and stuff like that through AutoCAD. They weren't really that crazy, but I did it. And so anyway, as soon as I left school, I'm like, I'm going to be an architect. So I went to university to study film. And that was great.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I can see
I
the
really
logical
thought-
steps there.
Yeah.
I thought this was going to lead into. So I started my Minecraft YouTube channel, and I'm like, fuck.
No. So I basically halfway through school, I went just like, fuck school. I couldn't really care less. And we had an OP system up there. So out of 25
what?
points, an OP system. So like you got like an OP score. Basically the same as like, you know how you guys got like a score at the end of year 12 out of like 100 or whatever it is?
Yeah.
And like anything below 60, you get like a question mark because I don't want you to realize how
Yeah,
dumb you are.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, right. So
I think ours was like
Question
below.
mark!
I think ours was below 40.
Question marks
Yeah.
up.
ACE.
yeah, so pretty much we have an OP system where the closest you get to 1, the 1 is obviously the real smart kids, and a 25 is pretty dodgy. But to get into a university, you had to get like a certain OP score. Like you had to get a 2 to get into doctor or whatever it is, like a 6 to get into what. So I needed a 16.
They're not giving you very much
Yeah.
leniency.
Ours
I
is
know.
between 100 and
Yeah,
0.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you're like, oh, a 3? Not a doctor!
Exactly right. Yeah.
Get out of here!
Get your dumb ass!
Legit, there was some
Go do
smart
film and
kids.
television.
So
You want to be an architect?
I needed a 16, which is like out of a scale of 25. This is like a 45, maybe a 40, if that. So
mid-range.
anyway, I went out and I went, okay, I was on track to get like a 6 to a 9 roughly. And the last 2 months of high school, I'm like, screw this. I cannot be bothered doing this anymore. And I'm not trying to get, I think I needed like an 8 or something to get into this architect course, whatever
Bro,
it is.
you legit make it sound like they're judging like your
They
gymnastics
do.
or something.
They
Literally.
do.
So I got a 10 on the high vault.
yeah.
But didn't stick landing. So
So anyway, I finished school and I'm like, yeah, I'll probably get like an 11 or something like that. No worries at all. Ended up getting my OP score. Dude, I got an 18 out of 25. I'm dumb as fuck. I thought
clip that.
I ended
anyone
up
in
getting
the
an 18. And so not only did I not get into my architect course, I also didn't get into my film and television course.
Oh, wait, 18's bad, isn't it?
Yeah,
'Cause
18's
you need
terrible.
to be lower.
Yeah.
25 is the worst. See, ours is- that's the
So
wrong
I
way
got the
around.
question mark. I should have got the question mark, but I actually found out how dumb I actually am. That's the thing. So I not only did I miss out on my architect course, I also missed out on my freaking film and TV
I
course.
thought you were in there. I thought you got in and you
Well,
were
that's
like,
the thing. So I called up the film and TV place, and I'm like, "Hey, look, I really want to be a part of this course, but I got an OP18." They said, "Oh, love, don't worry, it's all right. Trust me." I'm like, "Okay, rightio." Really, really small course, so I'm thinking they just wanted as many people as possible. So yeah, ended up doing that, and then I'm like halfway through, I'm like, I really want to be a fireman because kind of like I've
because you're tall stature.
tall,
Tall, muscly.
extremely strong,
Yeah.
like really, really able-bodied. So yeah, didn't end up even trying to put my foot in the door for that whatsoever.
If this episode gets 300 downloads,
Oh god.
Zach will run me 50 meters carrying me in his arms.
It'll get
And
300 downloads.
And I'll be in distress. So share it with your mates. Buy a WUC sticker.
I'll definitely try it. I'll give it a shot, but I won't make it.
100 meters sprint. You've got to carry me, and Adam has to fucking crawl or something. Adam will film it. running backwards faster.
So I wanted to do a whole bunch of things. I wanted to be like an architect. I wanted to be film and TV. I wanted to do this. I wanted to do that. I also, just before I started this job at Keep It Reet, I was also a electrician as well. I was an apprentice.
I saw your toolkit.
Yeah, I was an apprentice for 3 whole weeks. After searching for an apprentice job for maybe 2 years, I finally got that job. And then Jason's like, "Hey, you come work for me." So I'm like, "All right."
So you did better than me with apprenticeships.
Yeah,
We'll get into that next.
Oh, here we go. All right, so I'm done anyway because
okay.
I'm
I want to briefly discuss Zachary's toolkit that he carries in his car.
Yeah.
He gets his toolkit out, and I'm like, they look like apples, but why is there apples in a tool bag? Surely enough, they are apples. I had them at the track day, like 15 apples.
A whole bag.
God, this really stresses me out racing. He's got like 3 wires, probably the 3 wires he was allowed to cut from when he did his
But yeah, they're like 15 centimeters long.
You know, as an
that.
electrician apprentice, you're not allowed to touch wires until you're actually signed up.
Zach's like,
I was
practicing.
I was legit. They were my stripping wires, and I was allowed to once old mate cut them off. He's like, "Here, you can sit over in the corner. You can strip these copper wires." And here I am with my little bit of wire going. Fuck that one. Cut that one.
Better put it in my tool bag for later's practice.
So yeah, I was learning to strip wires, and they were the extra wires that I had left over. So
you can also see how Zachary placed his toolkit together, and he's at the start. He's like, "I'm gonna buy some nice stuff, some Sid Chrome, some King Chrome, some maybe even the thought of Snap-on," and then like, "I need screwdrivers. I don't want to spend money." The cheap Bunnings ones.
Right.
Bunnings ones, bloody.
And I also had Ryobi batteries, so I was like doing roofing stuff with my Ryobi impact gun and stuff like that as well.
Roofing?
Yeah. So I was doing solar. I was specializing in solar.
Another thing.
Yeah, solar.
Oh yeah. I remember you saying.
Dude,
that.
it's scary. They expect you to work in the rain down here.
Yeah.
Not Queensland. Queensland's just hot, obviously.
Well, it doesn't rain, so.
But yeah, no, like Victoria, it's like because it rains every second day down here. They expect you to walk on like terracotta roofs in the wet.
Shout out Monty, doing that probably right now as you listen.
Yeah, legit.
My mate does it. And
Yeah,
he's
scary.
I met him online. He was a viewer of my shit content,
Mm-hmm.
and his username was Monster Feet. I'm like, why? That's so weird. It's because he's, as a roofer, his whole body is tan, but he wears really long socks. So his feet are like, why does
It's
like,
so true though,
Yeah.
because especially when you're up on the roofs, you get like a mad,
Yeah,
like a
you get
mad
baked
tan.
up on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad, so bad for you.
Biggest supporter though, sure. Behind following up with Maggie, just backing the podcast. Always got our back. Love my
Awesome.
boys. Much love.
Right, yeah, Adam.
What were you gonna
Me.
be? An apprentice stripper? Of wires.
So when I finished VC, that's what it was called down here.
What did you get a 2, 6, and a 9?
No. So I'm sure yours is the same. It's like a ranking system.
Yeah.
Yeah. So ours is from like 0 to 100. I think it's 0. I don't know. I think it's below 40. They don't tell you. It just says 40 minus. I think.
That's what I got.
You get that's your participation
Yeah,
award.
Yeah, and then it goes up to 100. So I got to 78. So like, not bad. Wasn't unhappy. I only needed like a 65 to get into the course that I applied for because the film and television one down here, you need like a 95. Ridiculous.
That's intense.
There's not many people that are getting that high, like 90, 95.
Would James fall under that? Also, shout out James,
probably,
also
yeah.
listening.
Probably. I mean, there's different ways to get
I think
into
James
it.
snaked his way in through like
there's different
smaller
ways to get
experience,
into it.
but yeah, but same realm.
I think so. Because it's weird how it works. Like, it starts off really broad and then you like narrow it down as you go through like the years. But my God, it's expensive. Fuck.
Really?
Stupid.
Ballpark us.
Well, it increases every year. Say my one, the first year was $7,000 and that was a cheap course.
Oh,
But then like the last year
How
was
many
like
years is there?
20. It was 4
4
years. So the last year was like 20 or something. But
How demoralizing is that?
yeah.
So you're
So
getting
stupid.
more and more passionate about something. They're like, give us them more money.
Yeah.
Dogs.
I added mine up. This is because I was hating uni so much in that first year. Like I did not fit in at uni. I don't like uni at all.
I agree.
The people there like I did not match with them.
I'd like to see if I'd go okay at uni now.
Yeah.
As
I
give
don't
it a
know.
shot.
They're different.
I just like-
Uni's different.
It's more not so the people. It's more like I'm actually interested in learning things now. Like so, if
Yeah.
like now's when I can pick a career path.
Yeah.
Not when I was
Maybe.
younger. I did not give a shit.
Maybe.
My family said no bad, and I'm like okay.
Yeah. you could be right, but yeah.
So how far in did you get into that then?
I got to like the 6-month mark, and I was like, nah, fuck this.
Did you pay $7,000?
You have to do a year,
Yeah.
no matter what. So I got to the 6-month mark, and I added up like every time I was going into uni, how much that is costing me, and it was like $120 a day
Ooh.
of like.
Why would you do that math?
School fees, because I was only going in like 2 or 3 times.
When
a
you're
week.
smart, you do math. It makes you
Yeah.
scared.
So I was like, nah.
Dumb person.
I was
I'm
like,
doing
nah,
the math
fuck
and I'm
this.
really stressed.
So I did the rest of the year and then got out of there. Well, took a gap year, I told them. And then they were trying to get me to come back in the year after. I was like, fuck that. So I dropped out of uni. Because what I was doing was like not what they advertised at all. It was just ridiculous. I was doing so much dumb shit. Like I literally walked into a class and they're like, this is how you turn a camera on. And this is
I
shutter
did the
speed.
same
and this
thing,
is
bro.
I'm like,
Did you learn anything in that course whatsoever?
nah, nothing.
Yeah, I think I
Nothing.
learned the difference between phantom and non-phantom powered microphones, and that was it.
No, I already
remember you
knew all
telling me
that.
about
Yeah.
that. That's really stayed in your mind.
100%. That's the only thing I remember is
When
like because I had to use it at work one time because our microphone wasn't working on a shoot, and I said, "Is it phantom powered?" And I think you looked at me like, "Wait, he knows what this is about." And yeah,
And you also used it when buying this.
I did. Yes, I've used it twice ever. That was the only thing I learned at uni.
And you
that
said
was,
you learned nothing.
yeah, that's a $24,000 piece of knowledge that I have in my head right now.
Yeah.
12,000
Yours is
a
about
pop.
the same, I could
Yeah,
imagine.
but
yeah.
I didn't learn. I don't think I learned a single thing at uni, the whole year I was there, and because it was so dumb. I'm in this like film thing, and they're literally like, "This is shutter speed. This is aperture." If you're in film, and you should fucking know that.
I don't particularly mind that.
No,
Obviously,
but doing like 3 or 4 weeks on it,
yeah.
it's like, okay, we're going to do one class about talking about it, another class where you go out and use it, and then another class where you do your project, and then another
Especially-
class where you just present.
Especially if it's like you're picking a career path, you kind of want to be like, this is a passion. I'm not gonna just be like, okay, I did my 8 hours at uni. Whoop,
But there was like
gone.
no one in it that was actually like keen on doing anything.
Did
So,
you
like,
have
I
to
just
do a
did not
film
gel with
history
anyone.
class as well?
What?
Film history, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that would piss
so
me off.
boring.
Yeah, so
Don't
we had
care.
we had to do a movie review on Citizen Kane, and I don't know
Please
if
tell
you
me
guys
this is a film thing we can watch you do.
what? No,
Ah.
no, Citizen Kane is like an old black and white movie
You
that
just have to write,
apparently
like,
is
essays about
is
it.
a very is a very influential and periodic movie, but I fucking hated it because it's black and white.
Yeah,
Dude, I-
It was terrible. So yeah.
That type of class I had was a 4-hour lecture.
Oh,
4-hour
oh,
lecture.
No.
It sucks. Anyway, I dropped out of uni after a year. I didn't really know what I was going into, but I,
I
was
feel like
just
should be a
sort
really
of.
good podcast topic is us just going into film courses and how
We
dodgy
probably
they
should
are.
because they're fucked.
We'll
They're
do
so
it next
dumb.
week. We'll do it next week. We'll
Yeah.
definitely put it on the list. Yeah.
Because I got a lot of mates who did like the higher up one, and
What?
Yeah.
So that
Didn't go
like
anywhere.
second years, like coming into like $13,000 and stuff.
yeah, like
Wow.
like mega money.
Have they
That's
gone
ridiculous.
anywhere with them? Like, do any of them do a full
Not
time?
It's
that
like,
I know
it's
of,
like
no.
there's still freelance filmers looking for exposure right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally. So like I dropped out and then I started working at my parents' factory. Shout out mum and dad. Saved my ass and my brother's ass when we didn't have jobs. And a lot of friends' asses too. So shout out mum and dad. They really helped everyone out.
Definitely.
I know
from
that they're
the stories
listening.
from the stories you've told, you've put in your hard yards there too. So it's not
Yeah.
like that. They didn't give you the pamp.
Nah, I worked
treatment.
hard there. Definitely worked hard. So I went there and I was doing a bit of freelance stuff on the side to try and, build the portfolio as everyone does. Turns out, really don't like doing freelance. Hated dealing with customers. Because they,
Someone's
when you-
stealing the Starling. For the people that can't hear that, there's a house alarm going on.
in like the creative world, if you get like a $500 client, they want everything to be absolutely perfect. Like you cannot be a millimeter wrong. If you got someone that's like $5,000 to the same job, they don't care
Yeah, there's so much
because
more
they
than that.
actually like trust you as the professional to do it. So
Whereas
I was in the
$500
$500 realm because I was starting out and it was just painful, like just dumb. So I sort of got over that. and I pretty much gave up on everything. I was just like, nah, I'm just going to get an apprenticeship. So I got an apprenticeship as a plumber.
Oh, I didn't realize this.
Whoa.
Jeez. I wouldn't have picked
No
this
wonder
at
you
all.
talk so much shit.
but hang on. So I did everything. Like I signed up and all that. So I got the job and whatnot. Then I was starting on the Monday. On the Sunday, I got a call from one of my dad's mates in the industry. So shout out Dad again for the connections.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, come do media and marketing for us. Starting straight away. No interview or anything. That's how he rolled.
You know,
So you're a bigger asshole than me.
That's how. So I called up 5 p.m. on a Sunday because that's when I got offered the other job and quit the job that I hadn't even started, that I was meant to start the next day.
Oh, really?
You know how
Yeah.
I knew you were like, I found that so funny is because you're like, and I signed the paperwork, and I'm like,
Yeah.
if he's pointing that out as a noted point, there's not many more steps before he's gone.
Yeah. But like that's just how this guy rolled. He just like no one knew that he was hiring me. He just called up and said, we want to hire you because like through Dad. Basically, that's how the connection happened. So shout out Mom and Dad. They really helped me out.
So how long did you do your apprenticeship for?
I finished my apprenticeship, dickheads.
Oh. Your electrical one. Your electrical one.
Oh, no, I didn't do
No,
that.
you never did it.
So you never did it?
I wanted to do it.
You wanted to. Did you ever
This
make
is like-
steps to do it?
No. Did YouTube straight out of school. Stumbled my ass into that.
So between all of us doing a plumbing, electrical, and everything else trade, we have less than 3 weeks.
What do you mean? I've got
He did
a
a mechanic
full
apprenticeship.
4-year
Can't
apprenticeship.
fix my car. I don't consider him a mechanic until he goes, yep,
Look,
this is exactly what's wrong with your
Thank
BRZ.
you for bringing this full circle.
Because
Because
we still haven't seen your certificate
I
on
wanted
the wall.
to bring up, and you guys kind of brought it up, like watching that old film, the mechanic industry is teaching you things. And I'm sure like I definitely think the apprenticeship mostly covered a lot of things, gave me a good round knowledge to try to begin diagnosing things. But at the end of the day, like it's 10 billion different cars, you know, experience talks. And my experience was on suspension. So if you have a knock in your suspension, I'll be able to find that. Not in your engine though. Anyway, it's so weird. Like it's so dated. They are not that. You know what all the electric engine stuff in a mechanical apprenticeship is? If you see orange wires, don't touch them. It's high voltage. That's it. Like they're not even leaning into like teaching us like, oh, do you want to do this side apprenticeship where you learn how to work on Teslas or the EV? Nah, they're like, don't touch it. It's bad. It's the devil. Yeah.
Leave that up to the qualified. It's like,
Yeah.
well, how do you get to the qualified
Yeah.
bit? It's like, exactly right.
Because like
I'm with you.
that was my lady. That's late years. They're telling like year 3, they're like, don't touch it. Year 1 and stuff, they're like, this is a carby. And you're like, cars don't have these anymore. You know, if I'm working on these, it's because I bought a shit box.
Exactly
You
right.
know? Shout out to the shitbox owners. I wanted a KE70, but the lad at TAFE that I mentioned earlier had one, and you'd have to sit there. I've got to warm up my car because you just can't drive it until it's warm. Whereas I'm just like, yeah, see you later. Cressy vibes, super vibes. But yeah, I did finish my apprenticeship. Thank you.
That's good. No,
Yeah.
At least someone did something with their life, which is nice.
Then my story from then is at that job there wasn't a whole lot to do. It was sort of a bit of a nothing job. I like got really bored and didn't.
Well, I
really
can't
like
believe you
doing
went
it.
from a nothing job to a nothing job.
So then I moved to Boss Aluminium, which a
You
lot of people
ruined
know.
it. I thought you went to REIT.
No, then I went to Boss Aluminium, which a lot of people know about that because Boss Aluminium is a fairly big company in the four-wheel drive world. And I did all the media and stuff there. Again, just got a bit bored of it all. Saw that Jace was looking for someone for Tough Streeters, so the other brand which no longer is associated with Keeper Eat, so they're separate now. But that's how I got into Keeper Eat, was through Tough Streeters. Not intentionally, I was going to work for Tough Streeters, but then they separated. So I went to that, and then now I'm at Keeper Eat, which I've definitely developed the most skills ever compared to anywhere else because it's the most variety of stuff that you can make, I think. I mean, there's more variety you can do,
I
but
did
it
want
has a
to
big variety.
like speak about. I think it's hard to speak about our job because there is a lot of just private things.
Yeah.
But I think Keeper Eat has been a super it's a very high pressure, stress job. We have a lot of deadlines to hit, especially you lads doing videos.
It's incredibly diverse. It's
Never ending deadlines.
But there are a lot of, like, when you do get that chance to sit there and learn something new, you're like rewarded for it, you're praised for it, and it's a very rewarding experience when you can get that chance in there. There's been points where I've had plenty of times for that chance, and then there's points where I'm like, oh, no. The website's going to look exactly how it looked last time because I don't have the time to try and implement something new.
Exactly right.
But yeah, it's been really good.
Yeah,
I've
it's definitely,
been there a year now. I don't know if I brought that up last time. I think last time
you
I
did.
mentioned that we're nearly at a year. Yeah, it's officially
Definitely
a year.
a unique place that lets you do a lot of different things.
Are you guys both similar to me where you haven't really in the past been able to like hold down jobs because you get bored of what you do?
Yeah,
Or-
I normally last.
I've only
year or
had
2
weird
years.
jobs.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Yeah, a year or 2 years.
I go
been my,
between
max.
6 months and a year between a job and just go like, okay, well, I'm kind of at this point where I feel like Keep It Read's so different in that aspect.
Well, it's evolving.
It
The
is
other
evolving.
companies are at were not evolving on the creative side,
Yeah.
whereas Keep It Read is constantly having to change. It has to change all the time.
yeah.
So that's what makes it new and interesting each time. Because you're like, well, what if we try this? Oh, well, this is the new way now. Or,
Yeah.
You know.
Well, see, I think that's like the career of like evolving thing. I think this like as a mechanic, like once you get to like I have 5 years experience on the floor as a mechanic, you're kind of hireable. People like, oh, you're really good with wheel alignments. Like you do wheel alignments, and that's it. You know,
That's
like
all you do. Yeah.
they don't let you go. Oh, but I would like to learn to build it. No, you're doing the wheel alignments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I've been shown interest in doing merchandise and the website. Like,
Yeah.
what I was hired for was your job, and now I do not do any of that.
Exactly right.
essentially.
I think definitely maybe not in this one, but maybe the next one we should talk about unis and all that sort of stuff because
I agree. Yeah.
that's something that like I'm
very
it fucked me
passionate
back in
on-
the day because I didn't need to do it. at
Very
all.
passionate on the fact that film and a lot of arts degrees I don't think are worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll save that for another one.
I do think so, yeah. What are we looking at for time, I reckon?
Yeah, we still got a little bit of time. I have a story that I need to tell because
I wasn't sure
I
if
haven't
this would
told
come
it
out.
yet,
Ooh,
and
alright.
it happened this morning.
We
and-
kissed.
No,
No,
no.
Were you watching Da Vinci tutorials
No.
on the treadmill?
I knew you were going to bring
Yeah,
that
I
up.
I was
Yeah,
looking at
bring
bringing
it
it up before, but now we have a little bit of time. Come on, bro. No, it's all right. It's just as weird as listening to podcasts in the gym.
So I had the closest call I've ever had driving on the way to gym,
Ooh, that is a good one to hold.
and
in.
it's because of some fucking idiot. So
not a good bloke.
no, no, not at all. So I was in the Prado for everyone. That's the only car I own now. This is the Prado. So I'm driving to gym. It's like 5:45 in the morning. So it's like tradie traffic, you know. Everyone flows pretty good at that time in the morning. Everyone just chills normally because everyone's doing the speed limit.
It's parents. It's
Yeah.
parents
Yeah.
dropping their kids off
Literally,
at
there's
school.
like no distractions. They're just like with their cup of coffee and a dart, and they're just like living their life.
I'm going to be late. And
Yeah.
you're like, how are they turning? Using their knee.
So I'm on Canterbury Road, so 80k an hour, 2-lane
What direction?
highway.
Near Lilydale?
Yeah.
No,
What's the
I'm
address?
heading towards Bayswater.
Yeah.
Beyblades.
So like the car in front of me is about 20, 30 meters away. Like I'm leaving a semi-decent gap. Like I'm in an old 4-wheel drive. Doesn't stop that well. Get to an intersection. I'm halfway through the intersection. There's a slip lane on the other side. This car just starts pulling out after the car in front of me. I'm like, oh, fuck. Like that is literally what happened. I'm like, I'm going to like fucking
is
just
it.
collide with them at 80 k's an hour. And I swerved because luckily I knew that there was no one in the lane because I'd just gone around someone because I was like, what the fuck are you doing? 60 Ks and 80 Ks zone, what are you doing? So I like swerved hard and was only about 5 meters away from them. Like swerving hard in a coil forward
Yeah.
drive is not nice.
You're on 2 wheels.
And I just missed them and I don't think that they knew at all. They're fucking idiots.
I think that's the most aggravating thing when you're like, I just reacted to save you.
But like it was just like a normal car and like their head is at bull bar height. Like that was going straight into their window. Like
Yeah.
it wouldn't have ended well. I was going 80 Ks, like sitting right on 80 and it would not have ended well. And the thing is that there was a car in front of me that I just left like a little bit of a gap, but they didn't like pull out fast. They just fully somehow didn't see me.
So dumb.
I think that's what makes me such a nervous passenger is when I drive, I'm like, okay, no car behind me, no car to the side of me. This person keeps looking at their phone. I'm going to be ready to whoop out of this lane if I need to.
I am always paying attention to someone who's pulling out onto the road. I look at their wheels.
Yeah.
Because as soon as that wheel starts to turn, I know that they're moving.
I look at their face because you can just tell. Like, that old lady has dumb cunt written on her face. And oops, oddly enough, I knew it. Like the most rewarding feeling seeing it and being like,
the most rewarding feeling knowing that a dumb cunt is a dumb cunt.
Yeah.
But like I think 20 to 30 meters was the gap I was leaving. Like it sounds about
That's
right
a
in my
big
head.
gap,
Like it's a semi-decent gap.
Yeah.
But like we were
Don't
chilling.
lucky you left
We were
it.
chilling. Like we
Yeah.
were just cruising down the
Tradies
road.
are a different animal. They kind of just go with the flow.
Yeah.
They're usually pretty good. But
tradies.
They're either just going with the flow or they're right up your ass.
Yeah.
There's no middle ground. Like, I can't do tradies on the way home. I'm like, bro, like, what do you want me to do? Jump the car ahead of me? I'm not speed racer. Like, I want the car ahead of me to go.
Next minute they
80s.
overtake you by jumping you or whatever the fuck they do. Yeah, that's
I had
just
someone
mental.
like looking at me the other day. I'm like, what do you want? They're like going down the middle lane. I'm like, bro, I'm like up this guy's ass too. Like, I'm this close to the guy. You're this close to me. Like, what do you want me to do? Go that even close?
Completely different breed.
Like it was the amount of time that I had. If I had to just hit the brakes, I would smash straight into them at like at least 50 or 60 k's now on the brakes.
Oof,
like
that's scary.
full brakes. So I only just missed them. It was like full like.
And
Have
that's
you ever heard four-wheel drive tires when they're being like?
They're
yeah.
allowed.
Yeah, when they're being like reefed on the road.
It's a real
what it
squealy
was
boy,
like.
yeah.
It was not nice. But then after it happened, I was sort of like, I was going to ask you about it when you crashed the BRZ, or crashed, you came off track on the BRZ. Do you ever was it just like instincts? You did not think about anything. It's just like you go.
That's all
you,
driving.
You just go. I know what to do. Like you don't even think. It's just like.
Well, no, when I
just-
came off track, I knew when I went into that corner that I was going to go off because I entered the corner wrong and I was already sideways. And then I got to the point where I'm like, because earlier on in the day when I went off and did the same thing, I literally pulled out of it. I put the brakes on, I let go of the accelerator, and I just pulled straight around the curb. This time I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to try and stick it. And I stuck it straight into the dirt. Like I knew I was, but yeah, realistically, when you get to that point, it is instincts. Like the thing that I did was it kicked out sideways. I turned the wheel. I knew it was going to go off, so I braced the wheel, and then I literally just held the car, put the brakes on, didn't even worry about the clutch. I just put the brakes on and hopefully it stopped. Like you can't really do much about it. But
I think I don't have enough driving experience for that because my driving's very like I feel like I'm like a passenger to the own driving. Like the only thing I think is, can I do that faster? Should I turn there? But it's not. It's like everything else is like the gears. I can't remember a thing. It's like I'm not in the car.
But I was
That's
literally.
what I feel like you would have
I was
had.
literally like, it happened, and like I was a little bit rattled by it because it was so close, and then I was like, how the fuck did I do that?
Did it pump you up for gym?
Nah.
Oh.
Nah, I was like, that was like so close.
it rattles you around a little bit, doesn't it? Yeah.
It was like music down sort of stuff. But like it wasn't my fault at all. Like that's not much time between being halfway through the intersection and someone coming out of slip lane at 80 k's an hour.
I guess it's different as well coming from I drive tiny little cars and you drive massive cars. Your car would be so much more to get out the way than, you know, my tiny little, okay, quickly put the indicator on, I can slip into it realistically anywhere. Like even if someone was hard tailgating someone, I can usually fit between the gap if I need to.
But like
I
also feel like that it came down to the fact that like I am into cars, so I pay attention to stuff like that. I feel like if I was a normal person, it would have been brakes. And just
I see so
straight
many
into
just
them.
like they look like they're lifeless behind the wheel and they just drive to work because
Would have been
they
brakes
need
and
to,
horn.
but-
I can't stand the horn before
I agree.
Before
So
the
I
crash
swerved.
or way too after.
Yeah, so
funny.
like I swerved and I was like, fuck, everything was okay. And then I just sat on the horn next to them and I looked at them like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
I only use the horn in a what the fuck making me like I would have been like you like
Yeah, but
I just saved you. You deserve this.
Yeah, like I reacted
Yeah.
and it was okay, and then I went on the horn.
But imagine if you were someone on Dashcam Owners Australia, you would be like going into it and then you'd be on the horn and you'd just crash into them.
I love the
yeah.
Dashcams Australia ones are so fun. They're like going through the roundabout. You see another car coming. You're like, slow down. They're like, oh. Just hit the brake. You're not doing a crime.
That's the thing is, like, they freak out, they get on the horn, but they keep driving forward.
Yeah.
There's no point.
I can't stand it. Like, you're getting on the horn, like, instead of doing that, react in a
slowly.
better way.
The horn sound waves isn't going to end up big enough to push the car out the way. It's like,
Like if you hit the horn, it's probably going to be worse because they're probably going to fucking slam on the brakes in front of you.
Yeah.
Whereas if they didn't, they might have maybe just got out of the way.
Pet peeves with driving. Let's go. When people freak out and stop.
Yeah.
You've already driven out in front of me. Commit. Commit or I'll T-bone you to learn. No,
yeah. Another pet peeve is when people can't get onto the roundabout, so they keep going forward and forward and forward to the point where they're basically in the roundabout, and then they're just like, "Oh, okay, thank you for letting me in," and then drive around. It's like, bro, I had to freaking wait.
Not
for
waving
you.
when you clearly let someone in.
That should be a jailable
you're letting
offense.
someone in on the freeway, and you're like, "Why do you think there was a 4-car gap here, mate? It's bumper to bumper traffic. I let you in. Give me a wave."
I think jailable offense should be if you're coming onto someone and there's like a car in your lane and you let someone pass and they don't wave at you and you physically
I think we should
stop.
have paintball guns.
I 100% agree. Yeah, I agree.
I was going to say after the interaction that I had this morning, people shouldn't have their fucking licenses because like they could be dead.
You guys
like,
laughed
they
at me in a
would've been
previous
dead.
episode that when I was talking about licenses should be revoked off people, and you guys were like, "Nah, it's all right." But you guys,
I don't think
I
I
would have been
said
firmly behind that.
Yeah, I would have been firmly
Okay, well,
behind
fair
that. I
enough,
reckon like 50% of people shouldn't be driving cars.
Yep, I agree.
You know what's
And I want to say another pet peeve.
go pet peeve.
Going 70 k's an hour in an 80 k zone, switches to 60, they still go 70.
Yeah.
Yeah. All my mates right now are waiting for this. On the way to Calder Park, it's 100. Everyone's going 80. I'm fucking dipping through because they're all going 80 in different lanes. I'm zipping through. Goes to the 80 spot. I'm like, all right, I'll slow down to 80. They all go past me at 90. I'm like, I can't fathom. I'm not asking
annoying.
anyone to speed.
So annoying.
Just the speed limit. It needs to be called the speed you go, not this. People need to be punished for going too slow, unless they're in some shitbox. Because, like, you know, I think we still need to respect all. Like, your big ass car takes a lot longer to get to speed than me and Zach and the Sylvia. Yeah, like I get that, you know. But if we've got enough time to get up to 80 and you're not doing 80. Left lane or you're banned. Cut your license. You should be able to report people.
I don't even think they should be in the left lane. They should be in their own driveway, not driving.
They should be unlicensed.
They shouldn't have a license.
I need to make a sticker that, like a sign or something. You should be unlicensed. It's not good job, dickhead, like flaming them. It's just like, you don't deserve a license. It's just a brutal sentence.
Another pet peeve when people don't indicate out of roundabouts.
That's so dumb. That's so dumb. No one can even notice it.
Because Queensland roundabouts flow so much better than down here and
Actually,
everywhere.
I thought of another pet peeve. Why are all
Queensland
roundabouts
drivers.
around here not round? They're just like a weird
I
oblong
agree. Yeah.
fucking weird thing.
I agree.
You know
And
what
why
I'm
are they
saying?
not an actual circle? It's like they're just fucked up. They don't know how to do circles.
How do we get like 8 roads coming together where we have to do 3 roundabouts stacked? It's like, surely you could have designed this a bit better. Some pre-planning, like, oh, all these fucking roads are going the same. Just picture this, 9 roundabouts. Like, who's who?
It's like the Commonwealth Games rings. Try and navigate this.
I don't know. Have you ever been to Three Ways in Murrabak?
No, I need to.
So there's a
though.
thing called
I
Three
need
Ways
to,
at
though.
a
It's a
town
sex
near
hotel.
here. So there's
Yeah, right.
there's 3 roundabouts, like roundabouts in roundabouts, basically.
Yeah.
Like 3 roundabouts straight after the other. If you know what you're doing, it flows really good. If you don't know what you're doing, you're fucking off.
How many
everyone.
people don't know what they're doing?
A lot of people.
About 99%.
Have you driven through Springvale, like Spaghetti Junction?
Yes, I have. Yes,
I love
I
that.
hate it so much.
Everyone's like, fuck, what I do? And I don't blame them because you can stop and see 3 different green lights, 3 different red lights, and you're like, what, one's for me?
I love that random one where it like tells you to stop, but you feel like
In
you're in
the
the
center
middle
of
of
the
the
In the, like the
intersection.
middle of the intersection, but there's a traffic light there.
Yeah, there's a traffic light
What is
right in
going
front
on
of
here?
you, and you kind of like you feel like you're impeding traffic, but everyone's just going around you. You feel like a boss. It's weird. I don't know.
I've got mad pet peeve for the people that get upset at people at that intersection.
That intersection is
people like
confusing.
beeping, like, because like sometimes I'm like,
mad
I don't really
confusing.
want to edge my car mostly on the road behind that car, so I'm just gonna wait at the lights.
Yeah,
again.
yeah,
Someone
yeah.
will beep me. I'm like, mate, like, do you not understand this is a shit show you're going to have to go through once? Like, you've put 19 different roads crossing over. Don't beep at me, beep at the government or whoever thought that was a good idea.
Yeah, I still remember the first time going to that, and I was mad confused. And I started like driving out into the intersection.
Wrong side of the road.
It's like so big, the intersection. And I think I was going to the highway or something. So that weird one that you have to stop halfway.
Yeah.
I'm driving, I'm like, where is it? Like, where am I going? So I got stuck at the lights at the front, so I wasn't following anyone. I was like, it was like peak
There's
out.
nothing. I love
like,
following
where the
cars
fuck
through
do I
there
go?
because then at least if they fuck up, you do too, and you don't look like the worst one.
So I, being an older gentleman.
Although, I figured it out because I'm not fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Unlike most of the people on the
Well,
road.
at the end of the day, it's like, okay, go up to this light. That's the, you can judge it.
Yeah.
One thing I'm surprised how little cars end up on the wrong side of the road through that intersection.
Agreed.
I thought that would be way more common. It must be just because there's so many cars at the intersection all the time. You're like, well, I shouldn't be on that side of the road. So years ago, that used to have a waterfall, a hotel on the corner or something, and a little waterfall. And the local hoons would put dishwashing liquid in the waterfall, and it would fill the whole street with bubbles. Also, over the years, they've actually improved that area because they used to just like, it's like we realized we can paint lines on the ground fucking different. Because I swear back in the day, we used to just have, this is a left turn line. Now we kind of have those ones that like veer off and you're like, okay, so go forward, then left, you know?
Yeah.
And beforehand, it was just like left turn. So people would be like, yeah, I can only go left here. And they're like still in the middle where it technically meant drive forward to that set of lights and then go left.
Yeah.
That intersection, I don't know. It's like right near my house growing up. So like that was me learning to drive through there. So it was very...
Oh, that would be horrible.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of... learning to drive was a vibe. My granddad, when I got my L's, like I got my license later at like 19. So I wanted to get my hours legitimately because
Gross.
I'm proper. I don't know.
Weird.
I didn't mind it. It was actually such a vibe.
I did like 200 and something hours.
Whoa. Jeez.
Legitimately? Is this like your
Legitimately.
family let you drive to work
Yeah,
or
I
whatever?
just drove everywhere.
Yeah. So I bought my own first car. I got my granddad. I was doing YouTube at the time. So like, hey, Pop, you want to go for a drive? It's like 4 a.m. And I'd just go, we started, it was really funny. It would like start off and we drove to like Oakley and then like went along the beach and came back home because I lived in Clayton. And like, it was like a little loop. And then next it just got bigger and bigger. And by the end of it, like I'm like 60 hours into my driving and I've got 4 mates in the car. We're all going for a vibe. It's a Saturday night. We're just going past all the clubbing areas and along the beach and stuff. It's like a 4 hour. Yeah, it was definitely loved my drive. Put my own speakers in with my mate. That was terrible. Like it just took like, you know, when you're like young and you're like, I'm going to put speakers in the car and something that would take you like an
Like 2
hour
seconds an
now,
hour,
you know,
yeah.
maybe you make your own little bracket and it's still not that big of a deal. But the first time you do it, you like pull your whole door card apart and you're like, oh shit, I need this. Put the door card back together, drive the car to the store, get the thing, you know. And put my own speakers in, took like 3 fucking days. And they sounded so shit, but they were a vibe with the drives. Listen to Blau's house.
Yeah.
Those mixers back in the day.
I've got another pet peeve, which I'm pretty certain is specific to me.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Brendan.
No. So like you're pulling out of a side street, onto like a more of a main road. It's a 2-lane road, so 2-lane highway or whatever.
Yeah.
So you can pull into the left lane if there's cars in the right lane, but there's enough room in the left lane, yeah?
Yeah.
So there's enough room in the left lane, you're getting ready to go, waiting for the car to come past, and then in the right lane, someone changes lanes and they fuck you.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So you
Dog
do
act.
that too? Yeah. So when
Let
you're
me
when
out.
you're
You know I'm
driving
coming.
when you're driving down, you see cars in the side street, and you go, "There's room there." Do you wait?
I leave. I get out of the lane for
I
them.
wait until I get past, and then I go
Yeah.
into the lane so that they can pull out.
The nerve of people getting upset. It's like, you knew what I wanted here. It's peak traffic. I'm trying to get out. Don't come in this lane for no reason.
Good. I'm glad it's not just me because it really pisses me off. Like literally, I watched them do it. I'm like, you fucking idiot.
You made a good.
That
one
reminded
pop
me
in
of
my head.
another one actually is when you're coming up to a set of traffic lights and there's a guy already at a set of lights and they're in the left lane, you're in the right lane, and there's another guy that's sort of just in front of you in the left lane. they decide to just cut you off completely and go into the front of the right lane, and then they proceed to go slower than the guy in the left lane.
If you're not
100%.
left lane, that's ending is for drag racing. If you don't,
I
reckon
reckon
fool in that,
there
you're
needs
not,
to be.
ready to launch
I
your car.
reckon that left lane that only exists for like so buses can get like to their bus stop, or if there's like a turn into like a petrol station on
that's
the
the
other
worst.
side.
Yeah,
You know that little extra lane, then fucking idiots come up and then they cut in at the front. I reckon we need to change the law that lane you cannot just go down and merge. Like it is
Spike
a law
strips,
that you have to either be a bus or turning left into the shit on the left.
Do you
Buses
feel
should have
bad when you
sensors.
go into those lanes accidentally?
By accident, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like terrible when I do that.
I feel bad. I don't feel bad when I'm like, I'm pretty like, everyone makes mistakes driving, like I try not to be super, judgmental. I don't know if that's the first time that person's ever driven through Spaghetti Junction, but like I've definitely done heck, I shouldn't be in this lane. I'm in the Sylvia. Get to the front of it,
Yeah. At least you can quickly do it. You're not some freaking...
Oh, no, I'm a dickhead.
You're not Sarah in her Corolla going, oh, shit.
Freak
Indicator
out,
on.
hit the brake.
Oh, over. And then, you've cut 3,000
I was
people off
only
and
thinking
caused
we
2
hadn't
children to
roasted
die.
her enough.
Another one. When you do let someone in, so like you leave enough room for them, and they got the indicator on it, and they're just not moving over. They're just like sitting. It's like, get in the lane! I'm letting you in. If you do this any longer, I'm just going to move forward, and you're not going to be able to get in.
Bro, there's so many. Like, leave your driving pet peeves in the comments, because like when you go into the wrong side, like not the wrong side of the road, when they have the lanes where you can overtake people, suddenly they decide they're going to do the speed limit.
Yeah.
And then I feel like a hoon because I got to go 120 in the fucking 100 zone because you suddenly didn't want to get past. Meanwhile, I've been sitting this close to you for like 30 minutes. Dog axe.
Oh, I hate...
This is just making me angry.
Another really quick one is when you're beside someone and they're doing a U-turn, but they feel like their car is disgustingly wide and they need to pull in to the left lane and then all the way. And it's usually white Camry drivers, not as in like they're white, like the car's white.
The car is the car
is white. Yeah, sorry. That almost sounded like Zach Baldy's racist rants.
Because if I can do it in my cars, you don't have to fucking do it in your cars. I have like the world's worst turning circles. Land Cruisers are terrible turning circles.
I love getting back in the Sylvia and just being like, oh, heck, I can do this in one shot. Got a little bit of extra lock in it too.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine like my car's pretty basic, but there's I know people street driving basically professional drift cars. Imagine being in like the I need to just do a UE in the servo, nearly on the spot. Like, that'd be so fun. Like, imagine Wise Fab, just parking up. It'd be a vibe.
I'm trying to think of some more that really does my head in.
I had one, but I forgot it because I'm dumb.
People that think their car is lower than it is and take up 2 lanes to try and get over a speed bump when they could have just done it normally.
Yeah.
Or people that park in multiple car spots because the car park's not that full. It's like, who cares? Like I legit had that happen the other day. I don't mind. Like Zach's got it was funny. I went out with Zach, and I'm giving him. So I have a mate with a really clean chaser, and fuck you, CJ. And I've kind of got used to like, okay, he loves that car. That car is immaculate. My car, she ratchet. So I'll park on one side. My aunt, who goes on cruises with us all the time, parks on the other side.
Are you talking about the car meet we went to?
Yeah, and I give space. I give this space to Zach, and he goes and parks beside some like family car. I'm like, what are you doing, Zach? People are gonna kick the door open. Have you ever done parked? Because you've looked at the car and you're like, that's a dickhead car.
Yeah,
and so you park really far away.
Yeah,
I've had that happen. I legit park. It was back when I had the Supra. Park like on the line to the side of the car park. Little old lady, boo, kicks the door.
I don't know if this
open.
is a bad thing or not that I've started doing, but I park really close to disabled car parks now because not many people park in them. But I park basically on the line to disabled car parks, and it gives me so much space. But I feel really bad for the disabled person.
Wait, you're parking on the disabled side?
No, not on the disabled side.
On the other side.
I'm like on the line to almost the millimeter on the disabled sign line.
That's dog act. You should be in the middle at least.
Yeah, no, you got to give them
Really?
room.
Especially,
They're,
yeah.
not many
they're
people
not there
park
because
there.
they can't park. They're because like,
Yeah.
they might have a
No,
wheelchair.
I
or
know,
something.
but they have such a wide parking. I know they have it for a reason, but they have such a wide
car park.
They have that entire section, and I'm just kind of like, I'm
You
gonna
would
intrude
look
on their
like
space a
the
little
biggest
bit.
dickhead. They've got this huge space that's
Oh,
like
Sarah,
cutting into it.
So, Sarah, can you just check how close I am? Oh, you got about, I don't know, 10 centimeters. Oh, not close enough.
You favor. I'm not on the line, but I favor one side closest to the disabled car parking side because not many people park there because a lot less people are disabled than.
You know what?
I'm trying to think of the words.
It's accessibility.
Yeah.
accessibility.
It's definitely working at Keeper Eat has been an eye opener for the troubles of normal day things.
I
for
agree.
people with accessibility needs.
Yes, well, you would see that. Zach
Yeah,
and I don't see
we
that
see it
at
a
the
lot
events,
at the
but-
events. Unfortunately, racetracks, especially old ass racetracks, are not accommodating.
Yeah,
And,
we don't need to name it, but
Yeah. No, like I'm gonna say all of them. Like
yeah.
I've been,
that is true.
I've been
'Cause they
to a
don't
few
update anything.
racetracks and
like
yeah,
none of them update.
they've been around for like 2 billion years, and it's like it's a bit very upsetting to see. You know, like you have the space to do this. Meanwhile, you go to like most shopping centers, and the first level is just like a full car park, and you're like, that's how it should be because I can drive easily up to the
Exactly
next level.
right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then you fucking see Zach in the middle.
And then you see me in the bottom, double parked. No, not at all. I don't do that shit.
The Troopy was good in car parks because it was lined with bar work. So it was like a bar went all the way
if
around.
someone dings their door.
No matter what, if they smack their
It's
door
on
into
them.
it, it's dinting their door.
Yeah,
Like because
yeah.
it's just a bar, but there was no gap around that car because they had
Yeah.
front
I love
scrubbies, rear scrubbies, slide, everything.
Perfect.
I
So-
get done for little wheels and wheel poke. You literally have an outside roll
Yeah, how
cage.
weird is that?
Exoskeleton.
How
yeah.
weird is that? It's legal.
Yeah.
Like I can just put bars on my
really?
car. Yeah.
Weird.
Imagine me getting pulled over. I got bars all around my car, and they're like,
Yeah.
the wheels, a bit of a tire stretch on them. You're like, really? It's basically a bumper car.
It's literally like, so I have the bars down the side, but the wheel can't go outside the guard. But then I have a bar hanging
out.
out.
Yeah.
I feel like this would be fun for the.
death spikes out the front of the car. I need to tailgate me.
I feel like this could be fun for the potential future Washed Up Club touring car that we're going to be potentially
we are not
buying.
doing that. We are
Why
not.
not?
It won't move if you put that much bar work on it.
I feel like it could look sick though. It could look mad.
You get your Washed Up Club decals and slaps, and we've got a shitbox in mind that we really want to buy with the money. Ooh. So Sticker Socials has a fire new cutter. I have to bring it up.
Yeah.
I've upgraded. Sticker Social started as a little hobby. Now she's expensive. It's got a podcast set going on. And I'm very excited to play with it. And I bought it yesterday. Played with it for like 10 minutes. And then today I came and did the podcast. So I'm really antsy to go play with my new machine. Very excited.
No, very cool. Well, yes. If you do want to go ahead and check out stickersocials.com. .com. You can go check out and go grab the Washed Up Club stickers, which you see just behind us, unless you can't see them because you're watching on.
If you're listening.
Watching on podcast.
Yeah, if you're watching on podcast.
Speaking of podcasts, find us on everything. We are.
Rate us
We
5
are
stars on Uber.
everywhere. If you want to watch it, it's on YouTube.
It's just very surprising finding out where that Apple puts us on platforms we didn't even know we were on.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, you're on there as well.
Yeah.
All right.
Hello, inferior platforms.
Whoa.
Look out.
I'm not discriminating. You can listen to us on whatever suits you.
As long as you're listening to us, that's great. Yeah, I guess. Sorry, I made it real
Sign
weird,
it
didn't
off.
Yeah. Rate us 5 stars on Uber. Comment something dumb on
Yeah.
YouTube because you can't comment anywhere else. And we will see you next time.
Bye.
Group kiss.
Subscribe. The audio listeners probably think we hook up every time.